Best headgear yet, and something in the next few years I might need to borrow. As we welcome you to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com, here at Memorial Stadium in Norman. A matchup that impacts the Big 12 championship and playoff race. Top 15 teams, Oklahoma and Kansas State, square off. The Sooners are 5-1. Their loss a couple of weeks ago at TCU. The Wildcats are 4-1, but their lone defeat was out of conference at home against Auburn. Baylor atop the conference standings. Oklahoma State 3-0 in conference play. And if OU loses today, the Sooners in trouble. And they lost to Kansas State on this field 2 years ago. Kansas State won the toss and will defer. So the Wildcats will kick it away to Alex Ross, who is the best kick returner in college football. He has 2 returns for touchdowns, including a 91-yard kick return for a score last week against Texas. See if K-State tries to keep it away from Ross. Looks like he's trying to hide behind Deron Neal and wait for the kick to see which direction it goes before he gives away exactly where he'll be. Ian Patterson will kick it deep. And it'll be a touchback. It will come out to the 25-yard line for the Sooners. Dave Pasch alongside Brian Griese. Kansas State, kind of the forgotten team in the Big 12 when you talk about contenders. And Oklahoma looking to regroup. Yes, they won last week, but they needed a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown to beat Texas by 5.
Well, and their coach has not been happy with their offense specifically. And I think this game is a turning point for Oklahoma. It's a turning point for Trevor Knight. They have got to win this game. Kansas State is not going to lose this game. We know that Bill Snyder and that team will be well coached. Oklahoma has to play a lot better on both sides of the ball if they're going to get this win.
Trevor Knight is 10-1 as a starter, and he will throw it out into the flat. And there's Shepard past the 30-yard line and bumped out near the first down marker. It's a gain of about 8 for Sterling Shepard, their top receiver. And Trevor Knight struggled the last 2 games against Texas, only 129 yards passing, and then versus TCU, 2 picks, including 1 for a score in the loss. They run it here and get the first down. And Samaje Perine, a true freshman, who is the second leading rusher in the Big 12, and he is a load. 5'11", 245.
And you get the sense from Oklahoma right off the bat, to get some rhythm, they're going to go tempo.
Knight pulls it back and throws to Shepard. Spun down after an 8-yard gain. Morgan Burns on the tackle.
And it's critical that when you have 2 weeks where you struggle on the offensive side of the football, and everybody's talking about, your quarterback and being out of rhythm, that you get him some quick throws to get him into the game early.
And Knight will run this time, trying to get the corner, and he can't. Pushed out by Denzel McDaniel, a very good player. Now the fans have been clamoring for Trevor Knight to run more because he does have the ability to do that. Maybe we'll see more plays like this today.
I think you will. It's been an emphasis all week during practice. The problem is that this Kansas State defense, one of their strengths is coming up from the secondary position in corner and tackling. We saw it when they played Auburn in a very quick quarterback in Nick Marshall, and Denzel McDaniel is definitely the trendsetter in the secondary tackling.
Now last week, Oklahoma was just 1 of 11 on 3rd down against Texas, and they lost yardage on that quarterback run. Out in the flat and an immediate tackle. Catch was made by Perine, but Jonathan Truman, their leading tackler for the 2nd straight year, made the stop, 4th down.
Well, and Truman, he doesn't look great on the field when you walk up to him. He's not the biggest guy, not the tallest, but he has been a consistent playmaker for Kansas State from the linebacker position. A former walk-on, makes a big stop on 3rd down.
We talked about the returning acumen of Ross. Tyler Lockett has 5 career returns for touchdowns, 4 kickoffs, and 1 punt return. That was this year. Short punt, and fair caught just short of the 30-yard line, so good starting field position for the Wildcats.
And a couple things we're going to look for in this game. Obviously, we've talked about the kick return game. Lockett, Shepard, 2 of the best in all of college football. Quarterback runs. We saw there a dedication from Trevor Knight. I think you're going to see that more from him in this game. And Jake Waters, we know his bread and butter is running the football. How well does he produce? And then third downs. Oklahoma was awful a week ago. It's been well documented. 1 for 11 in the game against Texas. Conversely, Kansas State is excellent in third down. The big reason why is because Jake Waters' success throwing and running the football.
I really think Waters is an underrated player. Can run it and loves to throw it to Lockett. Last year against Oklahoma had 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. And a quick pass here to Curry Sexton. And he's close to the first down. Sexton has stepped up lately, 29th catch of the year. Waters doesn't really turn it over. 2 of the 3 interceptions this year were in the Auburn game. Against Oklahoma last year, he threw for 348 yards. He did have a big pick 6, though, that was a turning point in that game. In their last game against Texas Tech, he had almost 400 yards of offense.
Well, and most importantly with Jake Waters is in his second year in this system, he is now the unquestioned leader on offense for Kansas State. He's making great decisions. He's protected the football, as you mentioned, and he's making plays.
He did get a first down in that last play. Waters to the air again. Has time. And that's through the hands of the intended receiver. Lockett incomplete. You go back to the Auburn game. Lockett dropped a touchdown early in the game that may have made the difference in the outcome of that ball game, and he could not hang on here.
That was a high heat from Jake Waters. Great protection. Oklahoma only rushes 3, and that's a play that Lockett normally makes.
29 catches on the year for Lockett. Second down and 10 for Kansas State.
You're going to see a lot of this. Checking at the line of scrimmage. Jake Waters has a supreme understanding of this offense for Bill Snyder and loves to check.
And Waters kept it that time and was ripped down in the backfield by Jordan Adams. So that's a 3-yard loss. Jordan Evans on the tackle. It'll bring up third down and long.
Jordan Evans is a former safety. See him, he's at the linebacker position. They also get Quentin Hayes, the safety, up. Both of them well played. One has the quarterback, one has the pitch. Quentin Hayes has really become a part of this run stop and defense for Oklahoma, and he's been a factor.
Obvious passing situation here. Third down and 13. Oklahoma 107th against the pass in the nation this year, giving up almost 300 yards per game. Waters moving out of the pocket and throws back across the middle to Sexton, but nowhere near the first down. It'll be 4th down and 9. Kansas State did get a first down, but then the drive stalls around the 41-yard line.
And that's a good sign for Oklahoma defensively. They struggled last week getting off the field. They played a lot of plays in that Texas game because their offense really struggled, but come out in their first series, double cover Tyler Lockett there on third down, take the #1 option away and get off the field.
Nick Walsh punting into the wind. He was hitting some bombs in the pregame. We were down there. He was launching them. That wasn't great, but field position for Oklahoma around the 21 after the fair catch by Shepard. No score early on here in Norman. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. Dave Pasch, Brian Greasy. Let's bring in now the third member of our crew, our sideline analyst, Tom Luganbill.
Well, guys, it's been no secret that Oklahoma has struggled on offense, certainly on first down, getting behind the chains, and having unmanageable third downs. So keep an eye on Trevor Knight. He's got the second lowest completion percentage of anybody in the Big 12. That's behind Kansas's quarterbacks. Look at where he's going to disperse the ball today throughout the afternoon. He has not been able to complete passes over 65% to any region of the field outside of the left underneath flat. Got to have more efficiency out of him, particularly on first down.
He is 3 of 3 passing so far, but just 14 yards. He'll throw it here, swinging it out into the flat. True freshman Micaiah Quick does a good job breaking a tackle and picking up about 3 yards. They'll get more action today as the Sooner coaches are looking for someone other than Sterling Shepard to step up at that wide receiver spot.
Yeah, really the guy that stepped up, the #2 guy, has been Duron Neal, but they were hoping that KJ Young, the redshirt freshman, would be that third guy, and hasn't happened for young KJ, and so Micaiah Quick was going to get a lot of looks today in this game.
They got 4 yards there. Going to be another pass play here. No quarterback draw, and Knight lunges for the 30-yard line. Wrapped at the ankles by Truman, so it'll be 3rd down and short. We've already seen 2 runs by Knight. He ran it well against Kansas State last year. 82 yards on 14 carries.
And, you know, we were talking with offensive coordinator Josh Heupel yesterday, and he said, you know, when you have so much talent like Trevor Knight does, he can throw it, he can run it. You got to let it go sometimes. Don't try to be perfect in the game, but just let the game come to you. And I think so far so good for Trevor Knight.
Well, they got Knight lined up wide, and the Belldozer formation is back. Blake Bell, the former quarterback, now tight end, and he pushes the pile to get the 1st down. 24 career rushing touchdowns for Blake Bell, and it's a 1st down for OU.
Right, and the fans went crazy here, seeing the Belldozer, bringing back memories. Nice job by Kansas State defense, though, as well. They didn't get that by much. Jordan Willis going up against Tyrus Thompson and big Blake Bell. That's a matchup to keep an eye on in this game.
Yeah, Bell says it's been an adjustment moving to tight end. 37 career touchdowns, including 12 passing. Here's Alex Ross with a big hole. Upended at the 37. Gain of 5 on the play for Ross, a sophomore. 6'1", 220-pound back. They got some really good-looking backs for Josh Heupel, the offensive coordinator. Ross, Pirine, Keith Ford, who might be their best back. He's still out with an injury, missing his 4th straight game. Knight rolling out, gets a great block, but a flag down. Knight tackled short of the marker. Ryan Mueller got drilled, and now Knight is shaken up as well. You would imagine an Oklahoma penalty. Trevor Knight got hit by Randall Evans on that far sideline. The backup is Cody Thomas, a freshman who's thrown 4 passes and is a baseball player. Plays outfield on the OU baseball team.
And that does not look good for Trevor Knight over there on the sideline. Looks like they're looking at his left arm. He went down kind of awkward. Randall Evans, number 27, kind of landed on top of him. You know, they didn't run Trevor Knight early in the season because Cody Thomas had an injury. It looked like he had his shoulder. He had his arm out in front of him there, and he came down right on his shoulder and got his arm caught. But they didn't run Trevor Knight early in the year because Cody Thomas was injured, and so they really didn't have a whole lot of backup options at quarterback. And now that Cody Thomas is back healthy, now you see 3 runs already for Trevor Knight.
And Knight had some injuries last year as well, so those all factor into why he hasn't been running as much. Well, now they'll get second guessed by some fans because they've run him 3 times and now he's injured. And here comes Thomas, who played only 1 game, the Tulsa game. Was 3 of 4 in that contest. Now we got to clean up the flag.
Targeting by blindside block. Offense, number 48.
That's a big
The
loss.
previous play is under further review.
That's their fullback, Aaron Ripkowski. They'll review this, but as of now, he is.
So Mueller is trying to recover,
right there.
trying to recover there, and his head was down, and Ripkowski kind of led with his head there. There goes Mueller. He's going to react, and he's going to stumble, and then Ripkowski puts his head down. I think that's what they were looking at. That head goes down, and you target right in that head or neck area.
Yep.
I think that's a good call. It's a very dangerous play.
You lead with the crown of the helmet, and you're going to get called for targeting. So he is ejected. Now they'll review this upstairs, but I think the ruling on the field will stand, and that ejection and penalty will hold up. So you lose not only
2 big losses.
Yeah, you lose 2 players and yardage.
You know, and you think losing your quarterback like that and coming back with a redshirt freshman, that the running game is going to be more of the emphasis with Pirine, and that lends to, you know, missing a fullback. That fullback is critical in that run game. So you lose the quarterback and you lose the element that you're going to rely on is the running game, the fullback.
So let's watch again the targeting call here by Ripkowski.
The crown of the helmet goes down there, and yeah, I mean it's
an easy call.
That's as clear as it gets, and it might be a little bit different, but people need to think about if that were a wide receiver and a defensive back. It's the same thing for a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman or fullback.
I think Stoops is upset that Knight was on the ground and down, and that Randall Evans came in and hit him in the back, and Knight is going back to the Oklahoma locker room.
Well, it's a good sign that he's up running like that, moving that arm. Hopefully he can return to this football game.
Let's look again at the hit by Evans.
After further review, the ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 48 has disqualified himself from the game. That's a 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
So you lose Ripkowski, you lose Knight for now with injury, and pretty close as to whether Randall Evans should have been called for a late hit.
That's a big loss, Ripkowski.
Such a big part of the run game. Dimitri Flowers, who's more of a receiver, even though he's a 240-pound fullback. They like to throw it to him. He will replace Ripkowski at that fullback spot. So it's 2nd down and 20, and Cody Thomas going to hand it off. And making guys miss is Alex Ross past the 35-yard line. First down in the Kansas State territory and all the way to the 37. That's a way to help the new quarterback on the first play get a huge gain of 41 yards.
This is a guy that has the speed. Once he gets to the second level, he just can make you miss. And that time Schellenberger, the safety, comes up. No chance of getting Alex Ross on the ground. Great cut, great vision.
Well, you made the comment last night at our meeting. He reminds you of Darren McFadden, kind of how he's built, how he runs. Little trickery here as they pitch it to Shepard. He's got running room. And wrapped up just short of the marker by Schellenberg. Fans didn't like the vicious tackle, but looked clean. And they get close to 9 yards there on first down.
It looked like they wanted a horse collar, but that was on the shoulder pad there. If you're Kansas State, you're not concerned about pass at all in this situation with Cody Thomas in the game. You're just sell out to stop the run.
They run Ross again, and he dies for the first down to the 26-yard line. Truman on the tackle. Thomas, the quarterback from Texas, 6'4", 211. And again, those numbers were in a blowout win against Tulsa. In Oklahoma, they haven't been home in over a month. It's the longest in the Stoops era where they've had this much time between home games. They played Tennessee on September 13th. They've been on the road or at a neutral site since. And now, just 7 minutes in, your starter gets hurt, and so Cody Thomas is in. Mueller gets cut blocked, and the pass by Thomas is caught to Shepard. Turns upfield and comes up a yard short of the first down.
No, guys, a really good job there by Cody Thomas in the red area, not taking risks with the football. Now, with time to develop, they're really excited about him as a passer. He's a great baseball player, not quite the athlete that you had maybe with a Sam Bradford or with a Trevor Knight, but this is where the run game can help you out. And keep an eye, guys, now on Dimitri Flowers, the true freshman at the fullback position. He could become a pivotal cog in this offense now.
I mentioned he's a good receiver out of the backfield. 2nd down and short. And here's P. Ryan picking a hole, getting the first down. There's a penalty marker thrown on the near side of the field.
Number 77's helmet came off. He must leave for one play.
So no foul, but Deontay Savage, who's playing a lot of right guard, 6'4", 345, he'll have to leave. Nila Casatati, who has started a couple of games at guard this year, will come in. So they do rotate at that right guard position.
Yeah, they got plenty of players on the offensive line. Tyler Evans, another guy that can play at that right guard position. So between those three guys, and this is one of the more impressive offensive lines we've seen this year so far.
And an impressive drive with a backup quarterback in, although it's been Ross and P. Ryan doing most of the damage on the ground. Here's P. Ryan again. They're running between the tackles and having success as P. Ryan is inside the 10. P. Ryan averaging 95 yards per game on the ground.
Take a look at Casatati come around. He gets a second level block there, 54. You get that much beef in the hole. You know, it's just an outstanding job up front, and with your quarterback out, you know, you got to start to rely more and more on P. Ryan, and there's no question this young man is going to be an outstanding football player, and he can handle the load. He proved that against West Virginia. Ran it over 30 times for 240 yards.
He had 4 touchdowns in that game. First 200-yard game at OU since DeMarco Murray did it in 2010. He's having a little success in the NFL right now with the Cowboys. And DeCorey Johnson banged up. He's been a key guy on defense. He missed Texas Tech game due to injury. 11th play of the drive. Can the Wildcats get a stop here? Force a field goal. It's 2nd down and 2. High snap. And in trouble is Thomas, but somehow got the first down. 1st and goal from the 2 for OU.
Great job not panicking. You come in for your first meaningful series as an Oklahoma quarterback. You get a bad snap, and you just weave your way back in there and protect the football.
They give it to Pirine, who's in. Touchdown, Oklahoma. That's number 10 to lead the Big 12. Trevor Knight runs back to the Oklahoma bench with his helmet on. In time to see Pirine hit Pater.
Impressive composure by Oklahoma. Your quarterback goes down, the trigger man in your offense. Nobody panics, and they go right down the field.
Defense, 12 men on the field. The penalty is declined, result of the play. Touchdown.
And we asked the question at the beginning of this game: how is Oklahoma going to respond to getting beat by TCU, following that up with a poor performance at Texas, and now they come out and have some adversity early on. Guy ejected, quarterback hurt, they go right down the field.
Point after makes it 7-0 Sooners. But Cody Thomas, the freshman who had just played a handful of snaps this season, comes in for the injured Trevor Knight. And with the help of great play from Samaje Perine, leads them into the end zone. 7-0 Sooners.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick.
Trevor Knight injured on this play where the fullback Aaron Ripkowski ejected for targeting. Knight came back out of the locker room just as Oklahoma was scoring. You know, one way to cure your 3rd down ills, to not have any 3rd downs. They had just 1 on that impressive drive led by Cody Thomas, but again it was Ross and Perine doing most of the damage on the ground, with Perine getting the touchdown. But Thomas was 2 of 2 passing, and as you saw, Knight 4 of 4 through the air. Ball blew off the tee. It is pretty windy down on the field. We were down there before the game. Wind blowing left to right pretty steadily.
Be interesting to see if both these teams continue to kick the ball to these returners, Tyler Lockett and Sterling Shepard. Lockett's got 4 touchdowns returns on kickoffs in his career. They want to be careful.
He'll kick it deep though. And Lockett will take a knee, so it'll come out to the 25 for Kansas State. Samaje Perine, Big 12 leading 10th rushing touchdown.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Time for a Dr. Pepper conference update in the Big 12 in Morgantown. Baylor already up 7-0. Clint Trickett going to the nation's leading receiver, Kevin White. I'm sure Sooner fans will recall he put a $170 plus on them. 36-yard touchdown here. Number 4 Baylor locked up in Morgantown with the Mountaineers.
Reese, we were introduced to Kevin White week 1 when West Virginia played Alabama, and he gave those guys fits in the Bama secondary.
Big physical wide receiver, and he took Cyrus Jones from Alabama and taught him a lesson that day.
Second possession for Kansas State, run only 4 plays to 17 for Oklahoma. 7-0 Sooners. Jake Waters, the Wildcat QB. Play action. Waters with time and knocked away, incomplete on a pass intended for Lockett. That's Zach Sanchez, who has 5 interception returns for a touchdown with the pass breakup.
Well, and what Sanchez does, he sits on routes. You see him there. You catch the receiver at the top of the route. It's very well done. It's a very physical approach from a corner. But if Sanchez is going to sit at the top of routes, the only answer is to run by him or double move him. And that's the thing that he struggled with.
Yeah, he'll jump routes. He'll guess. Maybe they're setting something up. We'll see. 2nd down and 10. There's going to be a running play to Charles Jones. Finds a lane at the 35. Gets the 1st down out to the 38-yard line. So a 13-yard pickup for Charles Jones.
Little change up from Kansas State. Look at the wide splits here. That is to try to get the defense expanded so you have these lanes in the middle. Great job. Gronkowski gets a block. Kleinsword gets a block. Little bit of a change up wrinkle that Kansas State uses effectively in this offense.
But Charles Jones was hurt on this play. Went to the sideline. That could be a big loss. He's their Wildcat quarterback when they get down on the goal line. Has 8 touchdowns this year. A fresh set of downs here for K-State. And Waters thinking about running, now throws, and wide open is Gronkowski. Inside the 15, Gronk to the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State. The youngest in the Gronkowski famous family, and he gets his first touchdown of the year. 62-yard catch and run.
You have a quarterback like Jake Waters that's such a physical presence and runs the ball so well. You've got to be alert for play action, and this is just the play that Tim Tebow has made famous, where and Cam Newton did it as well, is you start to run that power as a quarterback, and Gronkowski comes out of the backfield, slips through the line of scrimmage, and there's nobody left.
So Matthew McCrane on to tie it. And it's 7-7. Jake Waters with his 8th touchdown pass of the year.
And Gronkowski is a weapon, not just running the football and blocking, but now you see him just slip out of there. There's nobody left. Very difficult for the defense to find him, and he shows he's got the moves on the second level to get the ball in the end zone. We're all tied up.
After winning the national title, Florida State's been playing some tight games while the Seminoles finally lose. They've got an unbeaten team on their schedule tonight. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Saturday Night Football, Notre Dame. A lot of turnovers by Everett Golson over the last couple games. Can he clean it up? And with all the controversy and distractions in that Florida State locker room surrounding Jameis Winston, that seems to sometimes make him better. We'll see what happens tonight. Here's Deron Neal, and he is brought down at the 21-yard line by Jonathan Truman.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown. You can see Dominique Alexander's right here. This is Ahmad Thomas. They have got to respect the run game from Waters. Here's Gronkowski. He's just going to weave his way through and watch it. If you're Dominique Alexander, number one, you got to respect that run, and it's just great play design, great patience by Jake Waters to find Gronkowski downfield, and he does the rest. It's very difficult when you marry that QB power run game and the play action.
And back on the field, the quarterback for Oklahoma is Trevor Knight after missing that last series, and he'll throw on 1st down, and it's Pirine out of the backfield. Hard to get him down, and Morgan Burns tried to drag him to the ground close to the 30-yard line near the 1st down marker.
And it's hard to overstate how impressive Samaje Perine has been. Obviously running the football. If you get him involved in the passing game, it'll be really hard to stop.
Here's Perine, and he stood up this time. It was Will Geary, a freshman, at the point of attack. And they're not the biggest up front for Kansas State, but they fight. And Oklahoma got nothing there.
Well, and they came into this game ranked 4th in the country, stopping, as you see, this defense stopping the rush. Now, they haven't played the stiffest of competition. They played Auburn, but Auburn's run game is very different than this power downhill attack that you're seeing from Oklahoma and Pirine. So they have got to make that adjustment in the trenches.
3rd down and a yard. It'll be Pirine again, and he's brought down short of the marker again. Tackled by Ryan Mueller. You know, you wonder with Trevor Knight getting injured if they're going to be more careful now with him, even on quarterback sneaks.
I don't think they gave it to him there.
No, he was short, Pirine, but
penetration there by Kansas State. Pirine did a nice job in the backfield and then tried to power through, but that's Truman, the linebacker. That's a big stop.
Oh, how about this? They're going.
Yeah, they're going to go for it.
What do you think of this decision?
I don't like that decision. Inside your own 30-yard line in the first quarter in a tie game, when you don't really have, you know, the quarterback sneak as you mentioned, I think he's going to take a timeout and talk about it.
So let's check in with Reese Davis while we have a moment.
All right, Dave, time for a Taco Bell studio update. Purdue taking on Minnesota. That would be Minnesota unbeaten in Big Ten play. Only loss to Purdue. Mitch Leidner to Max Williams. And the Golden Gophers trying to become bowl eligible with a win, with their eyes on much bigger prizes, up 14-7.
All right, Reese, here at 7-7, and Oklahoma considering going for it. I'm not sure what you gain by it. Even if you pick it up, you might be punting 3 plays later. And why risk it down here inside your 30? And they're not going to. They change their mind and they bring on the punt team.
Well, you know this, that Kansas State is not going to beat themselves, and so you don't want to try to manufacture a decision so early in the game that's going to come back to really hurt you. I think this is the right call for Bob Stoops.
Another short punt, and it checks up. Kansas State's going to have the ball near midfield.
Well, if you knew the punter was going to do that, you might go for it.
I don't know if I go that far, but but I think to your point about Trevor Knight, you're not sure now with the injury. Do you want to run him? As you look at Bill Snyder, who's done as good a job at Kansas State as anybody in the history of college football at any school, given what he's accomplished, and he's in the 6th year of his 2nd stint, 23rd overall, 75 years of age.
Just had a birthday. He's the oldest now in FBS as far as coaches. And the players still love him, and he still gets the response from him, which is amazing for a man that age.
Here's DeMarcus Robinson off the left edge, and he's able to get about 6 yards. Jordan Evans, who's their leading tackler for Oklahoma, he could not get Robinson to the ground. Robinson 5'7", 200 pounds. We saw Charles Jones leave the game on the last series due to injury. So Robinson might get more work today.
Yeah, it might be Robinson's show the whole day. And he kind of reminds me, you know, we did Mississippi State earlier in the year with Josh Robinson and DeMarcus Robinson. Same kind of build and same kind of power and relentless trying to go down.
There's a 7-yard run. 2nd down and 3. Minute and a half remaining in the opening quarter. Tied at 7. Another run play. Robinson met in the hole and wrapped up at the 1st down marker by Dominique Alexander. But it looks like he got the 1st down. So Kansas State in OU territory with a fresh set of downs. There's Jones, who was shaken up earlier in the quarter. Robinson had a career-high 17 carries in their last game against Texas Tech. And now you have no running back, and so when you see this formation often with Waters and the fullback, it's the quarterback run.
I love how you pick that up now. You know, you're studying film now. you see tendencies. So there's a fullback in the backfield. You say quarterback run. I hope you're right.
I can't help but hanging around you and Luganville for 2 months. As a pass. Lockett makes the grab and a gain of about 4 or 5. I'll just stick to play-by-play.
Add that to your breakdown sheet. It was a pass.
They had to go against tendency because they knew that Oklahoma saw it coming.
Coaches get paid too. You know, they break tendencies all the time.
Final minute here of the 1st quarter, and they're at the Oklahoma 40-yard line with a 2nd and 7.
Man to man. Striker to the edge. You're going to check that now. He looks to the sideline. They love option. They love throwing the football against man.
Here comes pressure. Waters in trouble and sacked. Back at the 48-yard line. Dominique Alexander was back there along with Charles Tapper.
Yeah, you got to know you're going to free release 5 guys that you don't have anybody left if you're Jake Waters and they bring Dominique Alexander right up the middle.
Entertaining first frame here in Norman. An impressive drive by Oklahoma, which included a 41-yard by Alex Ross, but Kansas State comes right back to tie it at 7.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Celebrating its 10th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, Allstate has contributed $3.4 million in scholarship funds. Dave Pasch, Brian Greasy, Tom Luganbill in Norman. Start of the second quarter. Tied at 7 in a game with Big 12 title and playoff implications, especially if Kansas State wins, given that its only loss was against Auburn. 3rd down and 14 here. The Wildcats won at OU 2 years ago.
It's like man-to-man coverage again. Lockett at the bottom of the screen.
And here's Sexton. And he's inside the 40 to about the 39. So
they might decide to go for it here. You know, they're inside that 40-yard line.
They've had issues with their kicker.
Their kicker has not been consistent. Obviously, Jack Cantelli has been replaced by Matthew McCrane. But if it was 4th and 3, 4th and 2, I think Bill Snyder might think about going for it. But 4th and 6, good idea to punt.
Yeah, there's McCrane, who's long, by the way, on the year is 27 yards. He's only kicked twice after Jack Cantelli was benched following missing 3 against Auburn, including a 22-yarder. And that's into the wind, and there's a K-State player down there at the 1-yard line. Beautifully done by Nick Walsh. And Elijah Lee was there for K-State.
You know, last year in this game, Dave, Oklahoma ran for 301 yards with power run game. The first quarter of this game, you've seen similar looks. This diamond backfield with the fullback and the tight end in the backfield. It's power downhill. Got great blocking. Look at the wall off by the big offensive line. You give Samaje Perine those kinds and Alex Ross those kinds of creases. That's what Kansas State has to guard against for the remaining 3 quarters of this game. If Oklahoma's going to win, a lot of it's going to come down to how well they run the football on the ground.
Almost as many rushing yards in the first quarter against Kansas State that the Wildcats give up for an entire game. Knight lined up in the end zone, and he will throw on first down, but there's no play. Got a penalty flag down.
Prior to the snap, the way of game, offense, at the distance to the goal, it's first down.
Man, how does that happen on a change of possession?
Well, that's the one the coach is not really too upset about. You know, it's a half-yard penalty.
Yeah, but still.
2-yard line. It upsets you, but you can see Bob Stoops not real upset there.
They get a safety, you have nothing to say. Here's first down and 11, all right? And there's a pick 6, intercepted by McDaniel for a touchdown.
Wow.
Trevor Knight threw it right to him as McDaniel jumped the route and scores.
Now that's something Bob Stoops will be upset about, but why do you throw a quick out route from the opposite hash? This is the last thing you want to do as a quarterback is throw a quick out route, and McDaniel's in perfect position. He had a corner over the top, safety over the top, so he didn't have to worry. That's just too easy. That's poor play calling and poor execution from Trevor Knight. If you see that, don't take a chance. Throw it in the stands.
You've been pounding Kansas State between the tackles with Alex Ross and Perine. Why, when you're backed up to your 1-yard line, do you go away from that and make risky calls? Extra point by McCrane just sneaks through, and it's 14-7 as K-State gets a defensive touchdown. Trevor Knight with his 6th interception of the season, his 2nd pick 6 in the last 3 games. That was a bad one. Primetime doubleheader on ESPN tonight with Ole Miss Tennessee at 7, then at 10:30 at Stanford and Arizona State. Both games live on Watch ESPN. 14-7 Kansas State. Danzel McDaniel intercepts Trevor Knight, returns it for a score. But that all started with the great pooch punt by Nick Walsh. Downing it inside the 1 was Elijah Lee.
We talk about mistakes, right? Kansas State, one of the best teams in college football in the Bill Snyder era, of not making those boneheaded mistakes and losing a game.
And a pooch kickoff here, trying to keep it away from Ross. That's a live ball, and still loose at the 31-yard line. Oklahoma jumped on it, but man, there were plenty of opportunities there for Kansas State. It was Dimitri Flowers who recovered it for the Sooners.
Heads up play by Flowers. That was kind of took him by surprise. Take a look at this touchdown. This is a 4-deep defense, and as a quarterback, you have to understand in 4-deep, you can't just throw an out route without checking first. Now it's a poor route by Deron Neal. There's no question about it. He starts to break out. That makes it very easy for McDaniel. But as a quarterback, you got to know that you can't just throw it. Take a look at McNeil. Look at his eyes here. His eyes are in the backfield the whole time. Bates, the quarterback, and that's an easy touchdown for McDaniel.
First interception return for a score for him. We talked a lot this week in our meetings about him stopping the run and being fearless and coming in run support. Did a good job in coverage there.
He's just got a great feel for the game and is aware of his surroundings.
After the play had ended, please reset the clock to 13:58.
All right, so unnecessarily 22 seconds came off the clock. Oklahoma will have it on its 31-yard line.
And the thing that really stands out about McDaniel is he's come out and said, as this year has progressed, he's a new player and he wants to set the tone on defense. He certainly did it.
See if they go back to the run game after the pick 6. No, it's a pass, and wide open in the middle of the field is Bell into Kansas State territory to the 47-yard line. A 22-yard pass play.
Just like we saw Gronkowski for Kansas State, it's going to be Bell off of play action. Truman, the linebacker, 21, has got to respect that run game, and they need Blake Bell to continue to make more plays.
They go up tempo here. Another pass play and a deep toss. Shepard wide open. He'll score. Touchdown, Oklahoma. What a bounce back by the Sooners. Knight finds Shepard, 47 yards.
Find out something about your team. You find out something about your offensive coordinator, Josh Heupel. He and Trevor Knight make a mistake on the interception for a touchdown, and they come back in 2 plays. 2 great calls. Play action over the middle and then play action deep to Shepard. And Oklahoma's going to tie it up.
14 apiece as Sterling Shepard gets his 5th touchdown catch of the year. He's in the top 5 in receiving yardage per game.
It's Morgan Burns on the outside. No reason to be jumping that route. And for Trevor Knight, couldn't be a better response to that interception.
Dave Pash and Brian Greasy now with our look back at our Mitsubishi drive recap.
And you take a look at the effect of play action on the defense. Here's Schellenberg, the safety, and here's Morgan Burns. They're both going to suck up because of the play action fake to Pirine. You have to respect Pirine's ability to run the ball. Here they come. Let it roll, guys. And you see Morgan Burns is up, Schellenberg's up, and when you do that against Shepard, there's nobody going to catch him.
And Sterling Shepard over 2,000 career receiving yards, 7th all-time at Oklahoma, wears the jersey of his late father, Derek, who played at Oklahoma, and then later in life at age 35 died of a heart attack. And Sterling was basically adopted by the Oklahoma program as that kickoff sails into the stands. Will come out to the 25. And Sterling grew up around the Oklahoma program. and then signed to play for the Sooners, and he's had a terrific career. Junior from Oklahoma City.
I was reading some of the clips from his mom. You know, at the beginning of this year, they had Shepard return punts. There's his dad, Derek, who's an outstanding player, walk-on that turned into a captain, and they won the national championship in '85. But his mom wasn't too happy that Coach Stoops made him go back and return punts this year. She said, I was scared. Returning punts, that's not the easiest job in the world, but he's been outstanding.
His mom Sherry is here today. Low snap. Waters on first down, facing pressure, and gets rid of it. Complete to Lockett. And nice tackle that time by Wilson. Dominic Alexander had pressure that time. And there's Sherry Shepard, Sterling's mom. And Sterling has been, you know, you think about his offense, 47% of Oklahoma's receiving yards come from Sterling Shepard. That is the most of any player in the Power 5 conferences.
And that's,
he's that important.
He's that great, but that's not a recipe for success. You need some other guys to contribute. Huge splits here from Kansas State. Now they come back down in.
Charles Jones back in the game. He'll get the call here, trying to get outside. He does. And at the 35, he's taken down by Stryker right at the first down marker. They'll give it to him.
Again, we see checks at the line of scrimmage for Kansas State. They were in wide splits, then they come back inside zone read. Look at Waters try to get a piece. The thing about Kansas State is, you know, that every player, all 11 guys, are going to give their bodies for the team, and Jake Waters is no exception.
Oh, you got their right tackle Matt Kleinsorge with a cast on his left hand that we got to try to block Stryker and Devontae Bond. Stryker looked like he was offside, flag down, and Waters maybe with a free play going for Lockett up high. Oh, he held on. First down inside the 30-yard line.
Great awareness from Jake Waters to know he had a free play. Offsides on Stryker.
Defense, number 19. The penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
And then to identify it and find Lockett, your best player, and give him a chance and look at him elevate and go up. There is no, what we talked about, giving your body for the team. He's got to expect to get a big hit from Ahmad Thomas there, but goes up and makes the play.
We talked about Shepard. Lockett is to Kansas State, what Shepard is to Oklahoma. 38 yards on that catch. First down inside the 30 in a tie game early in the second quarter. Going to be a run play here, and not much room. Gain of about 2 yards. Big Jordan Phillips with a tackle on Charles Jones. Phillips at 6'6", 334. He's healthy this year after missing last season due to a back problem.
Well, that's an important position. Obviously, in that 3-4 scheme of defense, he's got to take the double team. He has to force that double team to keep those guards off of the linebackers, and at 334, he's more than up to the task. Again, huge splits from Kansas State.
Second charge timeout, Oklahoma.
So only one left for the Sooners at a tie game here in the second.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. And Snyder's of Hanover. Taste how great a pretzel can be.
Sterling Shepard with a touchdown. His late father played at Oklahoma. Tyler Lockett just made a big catch. His dad, Kevin, holds the school records at Kansas State for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Wildcats looking to take the lead on this possession. Second down and 8. Injury at left guard, so Boston Stuyvesant is out. Here's Jones, and he runs into traffic and slammed down at the 21-yard line by Jordan Evans. So a gain of a handful, and third down coming up.
That brings up a big third down here in about 3. Kansas State has been outstanding on offense and third downs coming into the game. They average conversion on 50% of their third downs, which is 7th in the country. And the big reason why is because they keep it in third and short, manageable where they can run the football with Jake Waters or throw it.
And that's what they got here. 3rd down and 3. Waters has thrown for 130 yards so far in this game and a touchdown.
You see these wide splits. Look at the center there. They're going to call a timeout, but they were coming out in that formation again. And I think those, those wide splits, sometimes, Bill Snyder will use that to get the defense, especially a 3-4 defense, to get those defensive tackles out wider, which opens the running lanes and the path for the fullback to get to the linebackers in the middle of the field. Take a look at this. Yeah, you see how wide those splits are going to be. And
I mean, you could fit 2 guys in there between Hayes and Finley, 2 other offensive linemen. That's how wide they are.
And Oklahoma defensively, they want the way that they line up, those tackles have to expand with those guards. Otherwise, they'd be outflanked. So a little bit different look from Bill Snyder, but it's been effective for them in running the football.
You got number 61 at left guard, Drew Little, in for the injured Stuyvesant.
There it is again. In 3rd and short situations, I'd be really careful allowing those, because you got creases in there for defensive tackles to penetrate.
And with their kicking situation being problematic all year, I mean, it's a 42-43 yarder. That's not a gimme with the way things have gone for K-State.
It might be 4-down territory.
Waters getting the check, now communicating to his lineman. 3rd down and 3. Plenty of time on the play clock.
But even wider.
And Waters throwing, and it's caught, and it's a touchdown. There's a penalty marker down. Tyler Lockett with a touchdown grab to give K-State the lead for the moment. Let's see what the flag is for, though. It's on the Wildcats.
Jake Waters shaking his head because he knew that was a perfectly executed play. The check from the sideline, the throw, the route, everything was perfect except for, looks like, one maybe of the offensive linemen.
Keep in mind, K-State, the fewest penalized team in all of college football, and they just got one that erases a touchdown. Is it a legal man downfield, maybe?
Ineligible player downfield on the pass. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's the center, B.J. Finney.
Yeah, B.J. Finney, and again, there he is right here. Let's take a look. He's got a blocked run because this could be a run. So he doesn't know if the ball is going to be thrown or not. Well, they got the wrong number because it wasn't B.J. Finney. You go back, we can get the right number, but they called the wrong number. It might have been 55. Whitehair, the left tackle.
Now it's 3rd down and 8. You just converted and got a touchdown. That's off the board. Waters with time, and it's a 1st down catch by Lockett. He's inside the 10 and pushed out. Lockett got away from Julian Wilson, and they pick up 3rd and long.
And watching Jake Waters from the pocket, his growth and accuracy and arm strength has been tremendous from a year ago. That ball's thrown before Lockett comes out of his break. You see that? Ball's there. It gives him some space between he and Julian Wilson so they can make a move and get extra yardage. And Oklahoma has to respect Tyler Lockett, so that's why Julian Wilson's playing off.
4 catches for Lockett already, and a 1st and goal for Kansas State. When they won here 2 years ago, was Colin Klein leading the way at QB. Now it's Jake Waters. He'll hand it off to Jones, and not much off right tackle. Jordan Evans in there again. No gain on the play. Dominic Alexander as well. 2nd down and goal.
You mentioned Colin Klein. I saw him down on the field before the game. He's now an assistant coach with the Wildcats, doing a little defensive quality control, and he's been very impressed with Jake Waters and the way that he's operated this offense in the 2nd year in this system, really hitting on all cylinders.
Inside 10 to play till halftime. All even. Kansas State looking to retake the lead. Sooners look like they might bring some pressure here, and the play clock is down to 2. Waters, fade, end zone, and it's incomplete. Lockett got tangled up with Zach Sanchez, who made the breakup. That's the second time he's defended a pass today, so it's 3rd down and goal.
You can get away with some contact if you're looking back for the ball. Sanchez is always looking back for the ball, so both guys will hand check, and the officials, that's a great no call in that situation. Both guys fighting for the ball. They both have equal opportunity for that football.
So it's 3rd and goal for K-State. Waters to the air, to the end zone, and it's caught by Lockett for a touchdown. Lockett tore up Oklahoma last year with a school record 278 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. He's already got a touchdown catch here. That's the second by Waters in the first half, and the Wildcats retake the lead.
How impressive is that, to have a touchdown called back, then convert on a 3rd and long situation, and then on another 3rd and long, 3rd and goal from the 11 to knife that ball in the middle of the field. That is very impressive from Kansas State offensively.
McCrane with the extra point, 21-14, Kansas State.
And for all those people that say Jake Waters can't throw the football, read defenses. This is as tight as it gets down here in the red zone. You jump the inside route, and Tyler Lockett's in perfect position on the back end line, and Jake Waters is rolling.
Reese Davis with you in the studio, up to date on a couple of Big Ten games. You know, if Maryland could just wake up in the first 6 or 7 minutes of games, they might be undefeated. They fell behind 14-0. West Brown scores. They're now up 17-14. Purdue and Minnesota. This is Raheem Mostert. He's the Big Ten 100 and 200-meter sprint champion. He didn't need to go that far, but he went far enough to give the Boilers a 21-20 lead on Minnesota.
All right, Reese, about a month ago, Tyler Lockett was shaken up. He had a hamstring injury, wasn't himself, but he's healthy now after playing Texas Tech 2 weeks ago, then getting a bye. And over his last 3 quarters, Lockett has 17 catches, 195 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's in the last 5 quarters for Kansas State. So he's healthy, playing well, and he just gave Kansas State the lead. They pooch kick it away to keep Ross from getting his hands on it, but Ross was there. But Kansas State covered the kick well and got him down at the 30.
You know, a big reason they were able to connect on that touchdown, it was protection. Take a look right here. Look at great protection. Only a 3-man rush from Oklahoma. Now look at the accuracy from Jake Waters. That ball is going to be thrown right in the window, knowing that that's where Tyler Lockett's going to end up. You pull the trigger as a quarterback knowing that that's where your receiver needs to be. That's a quarterback that's confident and has a receiver that's on the same page. But my biggest question, Dave, is why isn't Oklahoma rushing Jake Waters? You got Stryker and Grissom and these guys off the edge. You rush 3 and give them way too much time.
Oklahoma with a first down. And getting out of there is Trevor Knight, and wrapped up for a loss. And a penalty flag comes in. DeCorey Johnson either got the face mask or the collar of the quarterback, Trevor Knight, who wasn't running as aggressively on that play as he did in the first couple plays.
Foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now again, the least penalized team in college football. They don't normally do these kinds of things, but they had a touchdown called back on offense and then a face mask where you got them tackled for a loss. It was an easy play. And now you've given them a first down near the Oklahoma 40-yard line. Actually out of the 45, excuse me. Knight has only had 1 incompletion, but that was the pick 6. Now the officials having a discussion. Not sure what this is about. If it's a clock issue again like we had earlier. They spotted the ball properly. Oh, actually, no, they didn't spot it properly because it looked like he was tackled around the 28-yard line. And it's a 15-yard penalty from there. Play on. First down at the 45-yard line. And here's Shepard on the pitch. And Shepard Oh, gets thumped that time by Dante Barnett after a gain of about 6. Here's Tom.
No, following up on what Brian Griese was saying about pressure. With Oklahoma on the back end, Bob Stoops was talking to a young defensive secondary. As we see Trevor Knight here throw the ball out to Sterling Shepard on the perimeter. Talking about the defensive personnel in the back end, a lot of youth. They've had communication problems. They've had busting coverages. Right now, though, from a man-to-man standpoint, out on the perimeter, number 2, Julian Wilson, he's mismatched. At 6'2", Lockett's 5'11", 175. He's just out-quicking them, and they're not aligned properly. Another thing, too, with those gaps, those wide gaps, there's got to be some A-gap pressures from Oklahoma to at least force Kansas State to account for blocking between both sides of the center.
We saw Mike Stoops there, the D coordinator, doing talking. We'll see if he adjusts. First down, OU, and here's Ross into the pile to the 41-yard line.
Some great cat and mouse schematics going on between these two coaching staffs. And remember, Bob Stoops, Mike Stoops spent time with Bill Snyder on his staff, and these are two very sharp coaching staffs, and you're seeing some wrinkles that you haven't seen so far this season from both schools.
You mentioned Mark Stoops. How about the job he's done at Kentucky?
Big game tonight
At LSU. 2nd down and 7. And here is Pirine and Will Geary, who weighs almost the same as Pirine. Got off a block and made the tackle at the 39-yard line. So a 2-yard pickup. 3rd down.
Geary's a guy that they were excited about getting, a redshirt freshman. You know, he's not the biggest guy. That's Kansas State in a nutshell. A guy that works hard, that gives great effort. Not the biggest size, but he's a playmaker.
3rd down and 5. Can Trevor Knight make a play? Rolls to his left and keeps. And that was easy for Knight. He got the first down inside the 35-yard line.
Jordan Willis, the defensive end, just got confused here. He's number 75. There, he's got contained, and there's nobody left. But that's the element that Trevor Knight brings that they need more of.
Pirine trying to reverse field and fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tackled by DeCorey Johnson. So no gain on the play. 2nd down.
Sorry, Dave. That's a play when you get that back going horizontal. That's a great play for Alex Ross because he's got that speed. But Pirine, I would just have him come straight downhill. He gets that momentum going in one cut. But you get him going sideways, that's the only way I've seen teams really stop Pirine.
Well, he's only got 18 yards and 8 carries. They've done a decent job on him. Wide receiver screen to Shepard. Played beautifully by Kansas State. That's DeCorey Johnson, who has really come on this year. He was the defensive player of the week in the Big 12 after the Auburn loss in Manhattan back in September.
Well, he was in the backfield all night against Auburn. He led the team in tackles for loss, and there's another one to add to the ledger. DeCorey Johnson's got speed. That's what they love about him from a linebacker position.
So a 1-yard setback. It's 3rd down and 11. Inside the 35 of Kansas State, with the Wildcats on top by 7. Knight has time, and Shepard is there to make the catch. Good throw by Trevor Knight that time for a 1st down near the 20.
Confidence building throw here. Got Morgan Burns, who was beat earlier in the game for a touchdown to Shepard. He's got to begin to respect that speed and an easy conversion on 3rd down. Give credit to that offensive line, too, specifically Darrell Williams, the right tackle, big number 79. Might be the best player on this Oklahoma team, but going up against Ryan Mueller, the good pass rusher for Kansas State, neutralized him.
And Knight is now 10 of 11, made just that one mistake. It was an interception for a touchdown. Here's Pirine between the tackles, and again Kansas State is all over that. Randall Evans, who normally wears 15, as there's some pushing and shoving. No flag though. Yeah, Deron Neal getting into it with McDaniel. Just to finish up on the Randall Evans story, he normally wears 15, but he's wearing 27 today, as Kansas State is honoring a former Wildcat, David Garrett, who wore that number when he played for the Wildcats just a few years ago. He was shot and killed last weekend at age 26. So you saw no number, or no name, but Evans wearing the number. 2nd down and 9. After the 1-yard pickup and a timeout. And so Oklahoma is out of timeouts now here in the first half. Baylor and Oklahoma State atop the Big 12 standings, both 3-0. Kansas State 2-0. Oklahoma 2-1. And the Sooners were picked by many to be in the national championship hunt. Certainly that still is the case if they can keep winning. As that pass batted down by DeCorey Johnson, who's in the backfield again. So it's 3rd down and 9 for OU.
Had that trouble Trevor Knight has all year, getting balls batted down. He's only 6'1". This is hard when there's a defender right in between you and an open receiver on a short route. And DeCorey Johnson very alert. This defense for Kansas State and their staff teach them if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up, and that's why they bat a lot of balls.
Knight on 3rd down and long, throwing a fade to the end zone for Shepard. He caught it, but was he out of bounds? Yes, incomplete. Thrown to the back pylon, and Shepard is hurt.
Well, he went down hard, and there's a camera there. Hopefully he just lost his air. That ball, he landed right on top of the ball. Great effort, almost an unbelievable catch. But it looked like he came down square on the ball on his stomach.
There's Mom Sherry looking on. Already saw the quarterback Trevor Knight get hurt but come back. Aaron Ripkowski, their starting fullback, ejected because of targeting. And now their best player, Sterling Shepard, down. It is 4th down, and Oklahoma will bring on the field goal team. Already 8 catches today for Shepard, and hopefully he's all right.
Good to see him up. I think he just got that wind knocked out. Watch, he comes down hard. First of all, almost, I mean, that is close.
He caught it.
And
but foot hit the pylon.
He just comes down square on that football.
Guys, Sterling Shepard just flat out landed on the lens of one of the camera operators down here, right on his right hip. I think partially stunned him. He's down on the floor screaming, "Get the cameraman out of here."
I mean, good to hear that he's all right. Now, Michael Cunningham trying to tie the Big 12 record for most field goals made in conference history, and he does. It's now Honeycutt and Mason Crosby, who did it at Colorado. 71 career made field goals, most in the Big 12. Let's go to the studio and Reese Davis.
Dave, despite 3 West Virginia turnovers, Mountaineers up on Baylor 14-13. Bryce Petty's going to find Antoine Goldley. Watch this block Corey Coleman makes right there on Terrell Chestnut. Now, initially, they called that targeting. But the tweak to the rule allowed them to look at it, pick up the flag, no targeting, good football play, touchdown Baylor. They're up by 6.
And Oklahoma and Kansas State both play Baylor. Oklahoma has the Bears here. K-State has them at Baylor. It's Michael Honeycutt, career 86% conversion rate. Might be the best kicker in the country.
Yeah.
It's Oklahoma within 4.
And I, you know, keep an eye on that, because that's preparing for this game. The biggest difference between these two teams was that kicker and that kicking game, because you've got one of the best in all of college football, and then on the other side for Kansas State, you've got a guy who's a redshirt freshman who's only attempted 2 kicks.
Yeah. Well, we wonder too, could Oklahoma win without a defensive score or a special team score? And they're trailing by 4. It's Kansas State that has the score on defense. And Lockett will not take it out, so a touchback. Time now for our Aflac trivia question.
I don't think have we got one right all year?
No, you're 0 I cheat a little bit, so I've gotten a few right.
You do.
At age 75, Bill Snyder, the oldest active head coach in the FBS. Who's the youngest, Grease? What do you got?
Gosh.
Well, the one that you said,
Kingsbury.
Yeah, I said that too yesterday. That's wrong.
Well, so I'm the one that gets to be wrong on national TV, and you get to be wrong in the meeting and then get the answer?
Those meetings are very important. There's high attendance in those meetings.
Probably some directional school, isn't it?
It is a directional school. Very good. Kansas State runs it here. Robinson, and he is brought down after a gain of only a couple. All right, let's keep you from having to suffer any longer.
Give me the school, I'll give you the coach. How about that?
Western Michigan.
Oh,
the
P.J.
coach.
Fleck?
Yep.
Wow.
That's our Aflac trivia answer. P.J. Fleck at age 33.
Wow. It's not good when you're older than the coach.
You're not the only one in this booth. Second down and 7. Kansas State leading by 4. Final 4 minutes here of the first half. Robinson again, and he's able to break a tackle, but then stumbles and loses about a half yard. So it'll bring up 3rd down and long. Remember, Oklahoma is out of timeouts. Kansas State trying to take time off the clock here, and if it does not convert on 3rd down, hope that Nick Walsh can get off a good punt.
See if Oklahoma decides to come after Jake Waters. They do have Stryker now, and their other rusher, number 82, Obo, on the sides of this formation.
Waters moving to his right, and he's got to run now. Fake the pass at the end and is close to the 1st down. He was past the line of scrimmage. It's amazing how defenders fall for that. He's like 4 yards past the line. He pump fakes as if he's going to throw, and he got the 1st down.
Wow. He's a gamer. He's very crafty, and you got to respect. It looked like it was a block. It was a great block by Robinson that allowed him to get the 3 or 4 extra yards. There's Robinson, number 20. That's what happened there, and just powers. Boy, that was a nice spot he got. I'll say that.
They didn't measure. Signal 1st down. 2.5 to go. They'll keep it on the ground with Robinson. And gets about 2 or 3. You surprised that we're not seeing Waters throw it a little bit more downfield, or do you think Kansas State's just happy that at worst it has a 4-point lead at halftime?
I think, well, the way that they've played offensively in the first half, and you know Bill Snyder's approach is they don't want to make the big mistake. They have thrown the ball down the field in this game off of play action almost primarily, and I think they're just going to continue to run their offense here with timeouts and 2 minutes left in the first half.
And Waters calls a timeout. And plenty of time on the play clock, but somebody was not lined up correctly. So that'll leave K-State with 1 timeout, just outside 2 minutes remaining here. Take a look at our AP rankings brought to you by AT&T. Number 1, Mississippi State is off. The Bulldogs right now the best team in college football. Tonight on ABC, you got Florida State, Notre Dame. ESPN tonight at 7 Eastern, you have Ole Miss, Tennessee. 20-14, Baylor leading West Virginia right now. Alabama A&M, interesting game at 3:30.
Who you got? Notre Dame, Florida State.
At Florida State, I just don't see Notre Dame. I think Florida State at some point is going to stumble. It may be in the playoff, but I just don't think at home that they're going to lose to Notre Dame. I think they just have better personnel. You?
I picked Notre Dame. Ever Golson is playing outstanding at the quarterback position, and defensively, their coordinator Van Gore, he'll have something cooked up for big Jameis Winston.
Well, Golson has had trouble hanging out of the ball the last couple games. They fake the run, and now Waters in trouble, and down he goes back at the 32-yard line. That's a 5-yard loss. Geno Grissom, 2.5 sacks now in the year.
Yeah, you can't let Jake Waters sit in the backfield. They bring Grissom and Zach Sanchez off the corner. I think Mike Stoops has had enough of Jake Waters sitting in the pocket, feeling nice and comfortable. He's going to start to bring pressure.
3rd down and 13. Minute and a half to go. Waters in trouble again and sacked again. It's Grissom that got there. And so it's 4th down. Ball may have come out, but it was recovered.
Yep, he bobbled it. He hit his.
Wow.
Looked like Grissom got a hand on there, but that's that 4-man rush from Oklahoma. When they have Stryker on the outside, they have Tapper, and they have Grissom inside, and they have Obo on the outside. I would venture to say there's not a better 4-man pass rush in all of college football when those guys are heating it up.
Actually surprised they were thinking about throwing, because by running the ball or even the sack, the clock continues to run. Oklahoma has no timeouts remaining. They're coming after that punt. But a stoppage of play.
Kansas State, I think, took a timeout.
Prior to the snap, third and final timeout, Kansas State, 30-second timeout. Please reset the clock to 42 seconds.
All right, let's get Reese Davis in here, back in the studio.
All right, Dave, Lex's halftime report is coming up in just a few minutes. Something I never thought I would say about the Baylor-West Virginia game. There's been a hint of defense. Seriously. Florida State and Notre Dame. Mark and Lou will look ahead to that matchup tonight. And also, Corso does a little retro headgear. We'll see at halftime. It's coming up in just a bit. By the way, both Mark and I got the athletic trivia question, Greasy. I'm just saying. Both of us. Both of us.
I know that Reese, the historian that he is, got that answer. I know for a fact that Mayday didn't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, he got it from Reese.
No, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I know Mayday, you know, that game tonight, there's a lot on the line for Mayday with Coach Holtz stressing right now.
Zach Sanchez is the deep man, and a fair catch made around the 43-yard line. So they do have good field position. They have a kicker that is the best in college football, perhaps, in Michael Honeycutt. And I saw Honeycutt going in this direction make a 58-yarder down on the field in warmups.
Yeah, and I think Bob Stoops is comfortable with him attempting a field goal from anywhere up to 54 yards, he said. So you figure here you got 34 seconds. There's no timeouts, but obviously getting a first down and get up and be ready to clock that football.
And people going to talk a lot about that pick six thrown by Knight, but really that's his only mistake. I mean, his only incompletion, certainly. But his team trails by 4. Knight with time, and a pass that's dropped. And Austin Bennett hadn't played a whole lot. That's what we were talking about earlier, needing someone other than Sterling Shepard to make a play. And Bennett had a chance, but he just dropped the ball.
Well, and that's, you know, we're talking about 3 points here. We're talking about, you know, you catch that ball, get up, give your kicker a chance to make it a 1-point game, and that's why they need that consistency outside of Sterling Shepard at the receiver spot.
And Shepard is out after getting injured on that last possession. Knight rolling out, and another throw along the sideline. A beautiful toss, and the catch made this time by Bennett. A great pass by Trevor Knight with pressure from Jordan Willis.
Great job extending the play from Trevor Knight, and that's the way, young man, to step up, you drop one, come back, make a play.
Knight pumps.
Throw it away.
And he will. Did he ever get outside the tackle box? That's going to be the question here.
He got outside. The question is, did he go back in? He was almost outside the hash, and then he circled back. I think they're going to let him get away with it.
Yeah, and there's Sterling Shepard going to the locker room. Remember, they lost Ripkowski, the fullback, due to a targeting foul. Trevor Knight was injured, but came back after one possession. And Sterling Shepard, hopefully he'll be able to return to the second half for Oklahoma. 2nd down and 10. And Knight steps up and throws complete. Inside the 15-yard line is true freshman Micaiah Quick. Now they got to hustle.
Got to clock it.
No timeouts. Nobody can move either here on the snap.
Good job.
So they spike it with 3 seconds remaining, and that will allow Michael Honeycutt really to get a chip shot for him.
It's well done by Oklahoma offensively, getting up, getting set, nobody jumping off sides. As you mentioned, there's a runoff if you do have a penalty, so that was very well executed.
Honeycutt 9 of 10 on the year. You see his career numbers, and with this one he become the all-time leader in Big 12 history in made field goals. 32-yard try, made a 38-yarder earlier, and he missed it wide to the left. His only other miss this year was a block. And so Kansas State takes a 4-point lead into the locker room.
It looked like he just hooked it. Looked like he was a little close to that ball, and you do not see that from Michael Honeycutt. 2 big mistakes, the interception for a touchdown in the first half and that missed field goal for Oklahoma.
All right, let's check in with Tom down on the field.
Coach, a first half of a couple of big plays, one a negative, one for Trevor Knight. What did you say your quarterback to spark the scoring drive on the following series?
It's a long day. You know, we got 3 more quarters to go. Pick your head up and keep playing ball, and we got to overcome it.
Kansas State on offense has come out with a little bit of a different look up front with the wide split between your centers and your guards. What's your adjustment to that for the second half?
Yeah, that hasn't been an issue as much as just some of the play action pass and sneaking the fullback down the middle. The splits haven't bothered us.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Oklahoma 5-1. Kansas State 4-1 and 2-0 in conference play. A game that certainly will impact the Big 12 championship. Lexus halftime report coming now with Reese, Lou, and Mark.
A journey to the next great championship in sports. ESPN, home of the new college football playoff. New Year's will never be the same.
There's a pick six, intercepted by McDaniel for a touchdown. And it's caught by Lockett for a touchdown.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. Kansas State trying to win in Norman for the 2nd straight year. Sterling Shepard hoping that he can be a factor in the second half and turning things around. He had 8 catches, 95 yards, a touchdown in the first half. Almost had a second touchdown. He caught a pass, foot hit the pylon, so he was not in, but he landed on a camera lens and injured his hip. But looks like he's good to go for the second half. Dave Pash from Brian Greasy, and a lot of big plays in that first half.
Great first half, and both quarterbacks played well, over 150 yards passing. I thought they were efficient. Outside of the 1 interception for Trevor Knight, felt like they both played well. They had some play action passes. Jake Waters got the ball downfield. He was accurate, throwing a touchdown to Gronkowski. This was the one mistake in the game, and it's a 7-point difference, and I think Kansas State's up because of that. But give credit to Trevor Knight. He came right back. Big throws downfield the next drive, and it's been back and forth. Big plays downfield by the 2 big wide receivers, Lockett and Shepard. What a great throw this was from Jake Waters to Lockett for the touchdown. And this was the play you mentioned that he got hurt. Came down hard on the camera. It's an expensive camera, just broke right there. A good thing that he's back, because Oklahoma will need him in the second half.
Kansas State will start on offense. And we'll start on its 25. Let's check in with Tom Luganville.
Well, guys, I was talking with Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma, and talked to him about the splits that I asked head coach Bob Stoops about how that's affecting their game plan. And really what he said, it's all a numbers game. They're widening the box with those splits, yet we still got to maintain numbers so that we can defend the run, which puts us on an island against Tyler Lockett out on the perimeter, which is not a good matchup for us right now, particularly number 2, Wilson. So he's very concerned about the numbers game, and they've got a bit of an edge on the Kansas State sideline with it right now.
Yeah, Lockett has a touchdown catch in his last 2 games against Oklahoma, Lukes. He's got 17 receptions, 348 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's in 6 quarters against the Sooners.
And you see it here right off the bat. He's locked up in man-to-man coverage on Zach Sanchez. Now, Sanchez has had a lot more success against Lockett than Wilson has.
Here's that quarterback run with Gronkowski in there, and it's a big play, and Waters makes the defender miss. Waters inside the 40. They finally get him down inside the 25.
You called it in the first half. No running back in the backfield with Gronkowski, the fullback, means quarterback draw. Too bad you weren't playing defense for Oklahoma. Great job up front, and a missed tackle by Ahmad Thomas. That's the element we didn't see in the first half. We didn't see a whole lot of running from Jake Waters. He takes a good hit there on the end of that run, but he didn't have any runs like that in the first half, and to start the second half is a good sign.
53-yard run by Waters. And he's brought down inside the 20. A gain of 3 as they go right back to the quarterback run game. Waters has thrown 2 touchdowns, 155 yards through the air. Now he's got 40 yards on the ground. trying to fight through this one.
Well, I think he came down hard on that shoulder, Dave. The way that he is wincing right now, he came down hard at the end of that long run. Watch his right shoulder and his elbow go down hard. Typically when that happens, it's an AC joint. That happened to me a number of times. And you can sprain that joint. I think they're going to have to keep an eye on Jake Waters.
Well, they're going Wildcat here with Charles Jones. Trying to pick a hole. He's inside the 15, near the first down at the 12, brought down by Quentin Hayes. The backup quarterback for Kansas State is Joe Huebner, who's a sophomore, former walk-on, has thrown only 6 passes this year. We saw Oklahoma's backup, Cody Thomas, in and led the Sooners on a touchdown drive in the first half when Trevor Knight was injured, but Knight returned. Fresh set of downs for K-State on the 12. Trying to go up double digits on the Sooners.
I think Bill Snyder sees that his quarterback's a little bit dinged as well, and that's why he's going back-to-back Wildcat, and now he's going to call a timeout. He wants to talk to his quarterback, Jake Waters, and find out what's going on.
We'll take a break and be back to Norman in a moment. Here's the play where Jake Waters was injured after a 53-yard run, slammed into the ground by Stephen Parker. They call a timeout to look at his right shoulder as they have a first down at the Oklahoma 12.
Yeah, the worst hit for a quarterback is to have that right shoulder or your throwing shoulder driven into the ground, and when the trainer comes and he's going to check, he puts his hand underneath his shoulder pad. He's trying to feel that AC joint, and if it's injured, it'll pop up. I know that injury all too well. Thankfully, looks like Jake Waters is going to be all right.
But they're going Wildcat with Jones as the quarterback. He has 8 rushing touchdowns. 7 have come in this formation as the Wildcat QB. No running room here, though. Grabbed by Charles Tapper. So a loss on the play as the first team all Big 12 performer, Charles Tapper, comes up with a stop. Second down and long.
And Tapper's been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks, but they need him. You know, they have a mountain of a man at nose guard and Phillips, and they need Tapper to begin to split some of those double teams as well and make his impact known in the backfield.
Second down and 12, and Waters is now the quarterback, flanked by Jones. And Lockett one-on-one, the bottom of your screen against Zach Sanchez. Waters looking the other way. And he's got to complete to Sexton, who's pushed out near the 10. Only the 4th catch of the day for Curry Sexton. Does it impact when you throw with that AC joint?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think they're now starting to match up Zach Sanchez on Tyler Lockett. But you can see here he's getting outside the pocket, and Jake Waters has really grown in that part of his game, mobility and dealing the football while on the move.
3rd down and 8. And remember, they have all kinds of issues with their field goal kickers. They'd love to get a touchdown and go up double digits. Waters in trouble, throws it into the end zone, almost caught. Deontay Burton had a chance to pull it in for a touchdown. I don't think when he turned around, he didn't realize the ball was right there. Waters doesn't look right. Jordan Evans got pressure, but watch the reception, or the near catch by Burton. Did look like he knew the ball was there.
Well, he had to throw the ball early, Dave. So Jake Waters, you saw, didn't have time to wait for him to complete his route, so he had to get rid of that football to preserve a field goal attempt of his new kicker. It's a great job by Jake Waters. Looks like he's going to go in the locker room.
So both starting quarterbacks have been banged up, and now here's McCrane from 28 yards, and he puts it through. So that makes it a 7-point game as McCrane is now 3 of 3 since replacing Jack Cantelli. Will Jake Waters return, though, for Kansas State, which leads by 7?
ESPN College Football is brought to you by New York Life Insurance Company and McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Dave Pasch, Brian Gracie, Tom Luganbill here in Norman. Monday Night Football. Arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, J.J. Watt, leads the Texans to Heinz Field to play Big Ben and the Steelers. Monday Night Football on ESPN. That's a big stop by Oklahoma, holding Kansas State to a field goal attempt as they got pressure on Jake Waters, who we saw running back to the K-State locker room. There's his backup quarterback, Joe Huebner. We'll see who's under center for Kansas State when the Wildcats are back on offense. 7-point lead on the road. K-State won here 2 years ago. Jack Cantelli to kick off. He's going to angle it. And we saw Pooch kick it a couple times in the first half. Here's Alex Ross past the 35-yard line. Another good return for the nation's leader in kick return average, Alex Ross. Check in with Tom.
Guys, Trevor Knight much more efficient in the passing game today than he's been the last 3 or 4 weeks. If we take a look at where he's dispersed the ball, keep in mind, not a lot of downfield shots. The one over the middle was Blake Bill, which was a big play, which then led to the big post route to Sterling Shepard on the outside. But aside from that, everything's underneath dink and dunk. We got to wait and see just how healthy Sterling Shepard is. He's out there, split to the bottom of your screen right now, number 3.
And Tom, we get the sense that Knight is healthy after getting injured in the first quarter and returning. See, they try to run Pirine. They're going to fake it to him here and throw complete. And it's going to be a first down to the fullback, Dimitri Flowers, into Kansas State territory.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I think you need to get the football to Pirine, and I think Kansas State is thinking that as well. They go play action on first down, and good play.
Another play fake, and going downfield is Knight for Shepard. He pulled it in. What a grab by Shepard inside the 20.
I mean, why wouldn't you just continue to throw the ball up to number 3? He's such a competitive player. Talking with Bob Stoops, he felt like that was his biggest asset, was his competitiveness.
Now Pirine out on the flat, runs over the defender, DeCorey Johnson, and he's inside the 15-yard line.
Yikes. Take a look, Pirine. 250.
Check that it was Morgan Burns.
Oh, gosh.
Who got tattooed by Pirine, who in the run game has only got 19 yards on 9 carries. They have thrown it to him a couple times. 2nd down and 4. Pirine between the tackles and doesn't get much. But able to stretch forward and get close to the first down. Here's Waters back on the K-State sideline. 3rd down here for the Sooners, trailing by 7.
Give it to the big man.
And Pirine has the first down inside the 6-yard line. Knocked down by Barnett. 1st down and goal. Boy, twice now we've seen Oklahoma, after Kansas State scores, with explosive plays through the air.
Middle field, deep, right? I mean, taking that shot downfield to Sterling Shepard because Kansas State's thin at the safety position without Travis Green in the game.
Going to be Pirine again. Stacked up at the 4. Jonathan Truman in there, along with Willis. 2nd and goal. Now, Oklahoma in the Bob Stoops era has only lost 1 time at home against a ranked Big 12 team. That was against Kansas State 2 years ago. Will it happen again? Sooners looking to tie it up on this possession. Knight gonna throw, and it's caught for a touchdown by Blake Bell. The former quarterback Blake Bell with his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Sooners an extra point away from tying the game.
A tight window. Bell wasn't open by much there, but he used that big frame, 6'6", and now he weighs 260 pounds after making the move to tight end, and an accurate throw from Trevor Knight.
After playing 31 games at quarterback, it's Blake Bell's 7th game as a tight end, and after Honeycutt hits the point after, we're all tied at 24. Shepard with a big play after the injury to get him in the red zone, and then Pirine says, "Get out of my way."
College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, October 28th on ESPN.
Don't forget tonight on ABC, it's Saturday Night Football with #2 Florida State hosting 5th-ranked Notre Dame in a battle of undefeated teams. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Game-tying touchdown catch by Bell. 9.5 remaining in the third quarter. Jake Waters, who was injured on the last Kansas State possession that resulted in a field goal. He's back out there. A beautiful day, temperature around 70 degrees here in Norman. Very important Big 12 matchup. You love the fact that they play everybody in this league. No conference championship game, but it's a round robin. 9 league games. And it will come out to the 25 for Kansas State. So here's the injury to Waters. It was on a run of more than 50 yards, and at the end slammed down on that right shoulder by Stephen Parker. They checked it out, and they thought he was okay to go back in the game. He threw 2 incompletions after that, and then raced into the locker room, presumably to get treatment, and now back on the field. See the numbers for Waters, both through the air and on the ground. Definitely a dual threat quarterback, senior out of Iowa, junior college transfer. Gonna run the ball here. They got a big hole for Robinson. He's past the 45 into Oklahoma territory and out of bounds inside the OU 30. And will there be a flag too? No late hit. How about Gronkowski out there again?
Gronkowski up front, look right in the middle of the screen. The center, B.J. Finney, gets a block on Jordan Phillips. That's a big man to get a block on, and lead by Gronkowski. Perfectly executed. That's a little bit of a change-up for this running attack for Kansas State, with a little bit of a counter action that caught Oklahoma by surprise.
"38-yard run by Robinson, aided by the blocking of Gronkowski, and B.J. Finney starting his 45th game at center. They'll keep it on the ground here with Robinson. Another big hole in the teeth of the OU defense, a gain of 9. You know, you mentioned Finney, and this is a big day for him. He lost his father to a heart attack, his father Jay, 10 years ago today. He says that he plays for his father, so you can imagine the emotions that he's experiencing in this game.
Yeah, on both sides. You know, we talked about Sterling Shepard and his father, B.J. Finney. I mean, it's just a great story, those two guys, and to play college football in honor of their loved ones who have passed, and on a tough day like today for B.J. Finney, he's representing his dad well.
Looking for a hole is Jones. He finds it for the first down. Pushed back and wrestled down by Alexander, but forward progress to the 25. So a 3-yard gain midway through the third quarter. Kansas State on the move.
And that's a tough deal for Dominique Alexander. We mentioned it a little bit earlier in the game. He's playing with a big club cast on his hand, and to be able to wrap up some of these backs, and Jake Waters, you see it there. Without your fingers to be able to wrap up and grab jersey, it's very difficult to play defense, but such a good player. They want him on the field.
Kansas State with more rushing yards than Oklahoma in this game, and Waters gonna throw it here, and it's caught inside the 10-yard line by Curry Sexton. They've run that play a couple times where it looks like Waters is going to run.
Well, it's impossible for Jordan Evans. You're going to see him. He's right here, number 26. He's got to play run, and as soon as he comes up, the ball just goes right over his head. I mean, you're in no man's land every single time they run that quarterback power read with the play action over the top. It's very effective.
And boy, has Sexton stepped up as a number 2 receiver. 5 catches today, had 9 and 2 touchdowns against Texas Tech, 11 catches against Auburn. And it's first down and goal for Kansas State. They got 2 tight ends right now in the ball game. And here's Waters behind Gronkowski, and it's a touchdown. The quarterback run. Jake Waters with his 7th rushing score. And the Wildcats are back on top.
So much for defense. Right in the Big 12, we saw it with TCU and Baylor. We didn't expect to see it in a game like this. Kansas State and Oklahoma with 2 defenses that are pretty good, but That was right down the field for Oklahoma and then right back for Kansas State on the ground, play action. Very impressive. And I think at the end of the day, these two quarterbacks really are feeling confident.
Yeah, both played well, had a mistake by Knight, but you could make the case that was on the coaches as much as it was on him for that pick six down on the goal line. That was a 5-play, 75-yard drive that took 2:35 off the clock. Waters with the rushing score, and K-State leads on the road. Boy, Ole Miss has been really good the last couple weeks. Is this a possible letdown game against Tennessee at 7 Eastern? And then an excellent game in the Pac-12. Arizona State and Stanford. Will it be Taylor Kelly, Mike Bercovici, or both at quarterback for ASU? The quarterbacks in this game have stepped up. Jake Waters with a couple touchdown passes and a touchdown run, and also Trevor Knight for Oklahoma with a couple of touchdown passes and over 200 yards through the air.
And if you're Mike Stoops right there in that huddle, I'm not quite sure what you say. You know, that was a great changeup. Give Bill Snyder and his staff credit at halftime to start running more counter. Not all read, but counter. Really gashed Oklahoma defensively on that last drive.
Kicking into the wind, short kickoff taken by Ross. Breaks a tackle, look out. Ross finally wrestled down to the 41-yard line. Weston Hybert holding on for dear life.
You know, in the second half, Oklahoma's offense has really been run the ball with some Perine and then the play action off of it. You got to respect that if you're Kansas State. Perine coming downhill, but then take a look at Schellenberger, the safety. They're asking him to come up and support, and then you're one-on-one with Sterling Shepard in the backfield again. And that last drive, here's Schellenberg. You have to respect that. Come up. This is the offense now for Oklahoma. Perine and then play action over the top to Shepard.
Although Perine, 13 carries, only 35 yards. Play action pass, and going deep again is Knight over the head of Sterling Shepard, incomplete. Morgan Burns, the corner, and Dylan Schellenberg, the safety, in coverage.
Yeah, and a great job there by Schellenberg. He stays back, doesn't come up. Stays back, and he's in perfect position to play that deep ball. Well done.
So it's second down and 10. The Oklahoma 41-yard line. Again, play fake, and on the slant, Shepard makes the catch. Gets the first down. He's over the 100 mark today, the 5th time this year. Comes in number 2 in the Big 12, 6th in the nation in receiving yards per game. He's on pace for over 1,500 receiving yards this year.
You don't see him drop the ball. You know, it just, no matter where the ball is, he catches it.
Now they give it to Perine. Down to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 3. Randall Evans on the tackle. We were asking the Oklahoma defensive coordinator, Mike Stoops, how he would attack Samaje Perine. He didn't have a lot of answers for trying to tackle a guy that's that low to the ground and weighs 245 pounds.
Well, and he said our guys in training camp, they were happy to get out of camp. They don't have to try to tackle him in practice anymore.
Second down and 6 for Oklahoma in K-State territory. Wildcats look like they're going to blitz. Here's Ross, got a crease inside the 40. Got the first down before slammed to the turf by Will Geary at the 36. That's 8 more yards on the ground for OU.
Great adjustment. Blake Bell, the tight end. Take a look at him. He's going to fan out to block the blitzer. He gets that block, and there's a crease on the inside. That's well done. Great adjustment by Oklahoma.
Rolling out is Knight, and Knight going to keep and slides wisely with the defender Dante Barnett right there. They spot it where the ball is, so it's only a gain of about 2.
Both quarterbacks have suffered shoulder injuries in this game by running the football. I think you're going to see more of the sliding. And I think that's what Bob Stoops, Josh Heupel, they don't want to take away the athletic ability of Trevor Knight running the football, but you got to protect yourself when you get in the second level.
They go empty here, and Ross out of the backfield makes the catch, but nowhere to go. Boy, Denzel McDaniel, as good as any corner in college football when it comes to either playing the run or making tackles in open space?
Well, part of it is recognition. He gets by the block, and then part of it's toughness. I mean, Ross is a big back at 220 pounds, and Denzel McDaniel, he prides himself on that, coming up and making big hits from the secondary.
So a loss on the play. It brings up 3rd down and 11. Trevor Knight getting the check from the sideline. Remember, Michael Honeycutt missed a field goal earlier, a short one. Knight with time, and boy, a lot of cushion there as McDaniel allowed Deron Neal to get open. Neal's been quiet today, but that's a big catch on 3rd and long to move the sticks.
Well, that's the question. We know McDaniel can come up and make a play in the run game, but how well does he cover? And that's just too much cushion, especially for a wide receiver that hasn't really threatened anybody. And Neal, I could understand if that was Shepard, but Neal hasn't had any catches in this football game, and no reason for him to be that far off in coverage.
Got 18 yards there for the 1st down. First time we've called his number. K-State showing blitz off the edge again. And they'll run Ross. Dumped at the 17 after a gain of only a couple. Randall Evans there defensively. Nearing 3 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Kansas State leading Oklahoma by 7. The Sooners lost 2 weeks ago to TCU when they couldn't get anything going offensively in the 2nd half. They struggled last week against Texas, but were able to hold on. Got a defensive and special teams touchdown in that ball game against the Longhorns. And here comes an end around. Looked like going to be a pass. It is Neal. He throws an interception. Morgan Burns picks it off. Now Neal does have a touchdown pass this year. Kansas State was ready for that. A turnover in the red zone by the Sooners.
I don't mind the play call in this scenario. I just mind the decision by Deron Neal. This was very well defended. Here's Morgan Burns. He's just going to settle back, and he doesn't bite the fake. He knows, he sees the reverse, and he just plays it well. He sees that Sterling Shepard's going to come back out, and you either have to run with that ball if you're Deron Neal or throw it out of bounds, and the coaches tell you that in practice. Problem is, he's not used to throwing the ball with defenders that are in between you and a receiver, and doesn't understand the space and the amount of catch-up time that a defender has, and so that's a big turnover. The 2nd interception on the day for Oklahoma.
Can Oklahoma's defense get a stop and get the ball back? Kansas State hoping to put together a lengthy drive and take a 2-score lead. And maybe a broken play here as Jones trying to make something out of it, and he just ran out of room. Devontae Bond played that well for Oklahoma. No gain on the play, maybe even a loss of 1.
Huge drive here for Oklahoma on the defensive side. You just got carved up on the last drive, and you have got to get a stop here and keep this a 1-score game.
Look at a tight end and a fullback. Nemechek and Gronkowski back there for Waters on 2nd down and 11. Stuyvesant is back in at left guard. He was injured earlier. Waters to the air. Finds Sexton. And good play by Sanchez to shove him out at the 24. Got 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6 for Kansas State.
I've been impressed with Jake Waters' arm strength to be able to throw that ball out there. There's no loft on that ball. He didn't have to reset his feet. That's all arm. But he gets it out there. That's an important play because it brings up a 3rd manageable situation here at 3rd and 6.
Oh, he's done a better job on Tyler Lockett here in the 2nd half. Let's see if they can cover him on 3rd down and 6. He's lined up in the slot, and they'll throw it to him out in the flat, and he gets help from 2 blockers and has the 1st down near the 40-yard line. Beautiful design, and they get 15 yards on the play.
That's Cody Cook and Curry Sexton, the 2 wide receivers, 14 and 19, and they cross block there. Beautiful design on that bubble screen. You cross the receivers. The reason they do that is you get leverage, and you're able to open up a hole in between those defenders. Perfectly executed.
So a fresh set of downs at the 40 of Kansas State. You see Lockett's numbers today, and on the season he has 35 catches and almost 500 receiving yards. Pump fake, and Waters And an excellent pass again as Sexton makes the grab at the 42-yard line in Oklahoma territory.
I really think they wanted to throw the double move down the field to Curry Sexton, but it's just a great read from Jake Waters and from Curry Sexton. It's not there. Zach Sanchez plays it perfect, so he just throws it back. It turns out to be a hook route, a deep hook route, and take a look at Waters. He pumps it, wants to throw it deep, and says, well, Sanchez is deep, I'll throw it short.
Look at the max protection, too, by Kansas State. All the time Waters needed to throw the football. Here's Charles Jones trying to pick a hole, and he gets ripped down by Matt Diamond inside the 40-yard line. We were at Oklahoma practice the other day, and Bob Stoops addressed his team and said, look, we're going to have to play our most physical game and our most disciplined game against Kansas State because they'll be physical and they won't make mistakes. And that's how it's played out. It's the mistake that OU made. The two missed field goal and interception return for a touchdown, the difference, right?
Well, and the interception there from Deron Neal, right? That's three of them. So they're behind the 8 ball right now, 7 points, and driving because of those 3 mistakes.
Final seconds of the third. Got to be a pass play. Waters setting up, and another strike.
Dropped it.
Cook couldn't hang on the sideline, so it'll be 3rd down and 7.
But again, no pass rush. I can't understand why they're not getting Stryker and Grissom to rush the passer. And this ball is perfectly thrown. Look at all the time he has to throw that ball. And Cody Cook,
former quarterback, only 7 catches on the year. Got to help out. He knows what Waters has experienced. You got to help him out.
Now they got Stryker and Obu on the edges here, at the top and at the bottom of the screen.
3rd down and long. 4-man rush. Again, Waters with time. Threw it over the head of Judah Jones, the intended receiver who was matched up with Julian Wilson.
You make the quarterback uncomfortable when you get somebody in his face. He threw that ball before he wanted to, before the receiver came out of the break, Judah Jones. See the pressure here. It's going to be Grissom that comes around. That's Obo right there, 82. And you just, that little bit of effect on a quarterback could be the difference in whether they convert or not.
Remember in the first quarter, Nick Walsh pinned Oklahoma deep inside the 2, and that's when the Sooners had that pick 6. And look at this, he's done it again. Kansas State will down it inside the 10. Sean Newland was there first for K-State. And so we go to the 4th with Oklahoma backed up, trailing Kansas State by 7. Trevor Knight, after that pick 6, has been sharp with 2 touchdown passes. Jake Waters with a touchdown on the ground and 2 through the air.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
So many games that impact the playoffs today in the Big 12, and then tonight in Tallahassee. Number 2 Florida State hosts 5th-ranked Notre Dame. Saturday Night Football on ABC at 8 Eastern. This game today between Oklahoma and Kansas State, not just Big 12 implications, but certainly it impacts the playoff picture, especially if Kansas State can win, as Mueller jumped offside. Now Blake Bell may have drawn him off, and it will be on Oklahoma.
Full start. Offense, number 10. At the distance of the goal. It's 1st down.
So think about this. Last year, week 8, at this time, Michigan State was unranked. Auburn was 24th. Miami and Louisville were in the top 10. Wow. It tells you that a lot can happen over the second half of the season.
Absolutely.
But if Kansas State were to get this upset, it jumps right into the mix.
Conference play.
They're going to throw from the end zone, and it's caught by Shepard and tackled at the... No, he didn't go down. He was still going. He landed on the defender. Morgan Burns put his hand on the ground and got the 1st down. Great effort by Sterling Shepard that time.
Everybody talks about his route running and his speed and his hands. I like his competitiveness. This is a kid that wants every inch. He had that injury in the first half. He's still hobbling around, but he's just still making play. He knows that there's no other person on offense at the wide receiver position that can make the plays that he makes.
Having a career day in terms of catches. Rolling out as Knight, finding Shepard again. tackled at the 25. So much more successful start to this possession compared to the last time Oklahoma was backed up inside its 5 when they called that pass play and Knight threw an interception to McDaniel that he returned for a score. Dump it off to Ross, and he gets the first down. McDaniel on the stop, but moved the chains for the Sooners. Oklahoma trying to go up tempo here, keeping Ross on the field. Pirine has not done much running the football. 39 yards, so they'll let Ross have a try. He breaks a tackle, keeps his balance. Finally cut down at the 47, but that's a gain of 16 or 17 yards.
It's a good sign at the start of the fourth quarter for Oklahoma. You got a guy in Shepard that's given maximum effort. Take a look at Ross. He's refusing to go down, spinning, giving his body up for the team. This is an Oklahoma team. We question how are they going to respond after the loss to TCU and looking terrible on offense against Texas. They've come out in this game, and you found you have some leadership in a couple of these guys.
Over 400 yards of total offense for the Sooners today and a first down. Knight throws complete to midfield, and down goes Bell after a gain of about 4.
Really like the decision by offensive coordinator Josh Heupel to speed up the tempo a little bit. And you can see it in the swagger and the body language of Trevor Knight. When they go fast, he looks like he's in the most control. You can see it in his body language, barking out the signals. This team has a sense of urgency right now. This tempo is keeping Kansas State on their heels.
And they're on the K-State side of the field. Pirine is back in the game. He'll get the carry here straight ahead, and boy, is he hard to get down. He had 3 Kansas State guys wrap him up, and Pirine at 240 and moved everybody and got 10 yards on the play.
Well, if you're Josh Heupel, the hope is that as you get into the fourth quarter, this big offensive line and this big back, number 32, start to wear down on Kansas State defensively. But I know this, in talking with Bill Snyder during the week, they don't rotate a lot of guys on defense. They trust the preparation and the conditioning of their front 7 to play 4 quarters and play it fast.
Knight getting the check from the Oklahoma sideline. Play clock down to 5. Got to hurry. Play clock at 1. They just get the play off, or did Oklahoma call a timeout? There's a flag on the play. Oklahoma did call a timeout, though.
Prior to the expiration of the play clock, first charge timeout, Oklahoma.
You know, I don't know if I call a timeout right there, to be quite honest with you. You need all 3 of your timeouts for the rest of this game.
And remember, they burned all 3 timeouts in the first half, and that hurt them.
Rich Davis with you. Let's go inside the headset. Brought to you by AT&T. Iowa and Maryland after falling behind 14-0. And Maryland, by the way, down to its 3rd quarterback, Perry Hills. He does a good thing. He finds Stephon Diggs. That is always sound strategy. 9 catches, 130 yards. Maryland has the lead. C.J. Brown knocked out of this game, guys.
All right, here it's 31-24. Kansas State on top of Oklahoma early in the 4th. Bob Stoops calling a timeout to avoid the delay of game penalty. First down in Wildcat territory. And Knight will hand it off to Pirine, and again finds no running room. Jonathan Truman, former walk-on, has led the team in tackles the last 2 years and has 11 stops today. Gets Pirine to the ground for a short pickup.
And also up front, Travis Britz, the defensive lineman, the junior, starting to get some penetration between the wall of this big offensive line.
Second down and long. Knight has to step away from pressure and takes off. And brought down inside the 40 at the 39-yard line. Again, Truman on the stop. So 3rd and manageable, 3rd and about 4 here at the 39-yard line.
And if you're Kansas State on defense, you got to find number 3. Where is Sterling Shepard? If you can double him, great. And then you got to keep containment on the quarterback, because Trevor Knight with his feet can easily get a first down.
And you saw Shepard. He's at the top of the screen, matched up with Morgan Burns. Burns had the interception on the last Oklahoma possession when Deron Neal on the end around threw it short of the intended receiver. 3rd down and 5. Knight with a quick throw to Neal, and he makes the catch for an OU first down at the 32.
That's a big development for Oklahoma. Deron Neal, somebody to compliment Sterling Shepard. Patience on the slant route. Good job holding on to that ball. McDaniel gets his hand in there.
They go quick here, up tempo, on a pass by Knight, pulled in inside the 15 by Shepard. It'll be a 1st and goal as Shepard gets catch number 13, 178 receiving yards on the day.
Great throw from Trevor Knight, right behind the safety. Such a fluid athlete.
Knight pulls it back and throws. Wide open is Neal. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Trevor Knight has really played well today. Just a yard shy of 300 yards passing and his 3rd touchdown.
And those last 2 off of play action. You start get that run game, and then you throw the slant behind the safeties. And if you have a quarterback that can see it and that's confident and that can throw that ball out in front of that wide receiver, you're going to have success just like Oklahoma did.
Honeycutt to try it, tie it rather at 31, and it's blocked. But it's picked up, and then the tackle is made.
I think that's big Travis Britz, the defensive lineman, right over the center with a big block.
And if that's Britz, remember he had 4 block kicks last year, which led the country. Here's the touchdown pass, though, by Knight. Finding a wide open Deron Neal, his 1st touchdown catch of the year. But Oklahoma is down 1 after the missed point after.
Big touchdown by the Sooners, but they get a blocked extra point. There's Travis Britz right there over the center. Watch him get skinny. The Savage, the left guard, doesn't block down. And Travis Britz has made a career doing this. 4 blocks a year ago. And if you don't, I don't understand how you're not ready for that with Travis Britz, because that's all he does. And that time, Deontay Savage, the left guard, just a lapse, a small lapse like that, small error leads to big things, and that could come back to haunt the Sooners.
Very cliche to say that, you know, we thought the game would come down to special teams, except when it actually does come down to special teams.
Yeah.
And a missed 32-yard field goal by maybe the best kicker in the country, Michael Honeycutt, who was tied for the all-time lead in field goals in the Big 12, and then the blocked extra point. And it's Kansas State by 1, 10:35 remaining. We have not seen Tyler Lockett get a return yet. Nick Hodgson trying to keep it away from him. He's got 4 returns for touchdowns on kickoffs. Will he get a shot here? Here comes Lockett. And he's hit at the 10. And doesn't make it to the 20. Great coverage by Oklahoma. It was Stephen Parker down there for the Sooners.
We've talked all game about how play action affects the secondary for Kansas State. That's Schellenberg there. You're going to see Deron Neal just runs a slant route right behind him. Schellenberg responds, and it's an easy throw for Trevor Knight. And finally, Oklahoma is getting a complimentary receiver to Sterling Shepard. Maybe it's Deron Neal.
Off of play action, Knight has been fantastic today. Kansas State ball, leading by 1 at its 15-yard line. Waters will hand it off to Robinson. Able to power ahead for about 4 yards to the 19. Kansas State has run the ball pretty well today. 144 yards on the ground. Oklahoma's at 149. This is the worst starting field position for the Wildcats today. Kansas State has Texas in Manhattan next week. Oklahoma has Baylor in a couple of weeks here in Norman. Baylor was losing to West Virginia at last check. Waters on 2nd down, pumps, now throws to the other side of the field and just threw it away. Waters had pressure in his face. It was Dominique Alexander. They trying to get the double move down here on the side.
Trying to get the double move, and it was well defended by Oklahoma. Now this crowd is in the game. And on a big 3rd down and 6 here, I expect full pressure from defensive coordinator Mike Stoops, because the last drive it had success.
K-State 4 of 9 on 3rd down.
Speed rushers off the edge.
4-man rush, but maybe a timeout call. Little extracurricular activities, but the whistle blew. Have to put some time back on the clock because there was no play.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Well, they figured this is a big 3rd down, so they want to talk about it, but that's only 1 timeout left for OU.
Not happy about it.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by the Lexus GX. Dare to be spontaneous.
An apparent confusion in the defensive coaching staff, so they had to call a timeout, leaving them with 1. Kansas State with a 3rd down and 6 inside its 20. 1-point lead for the Wildcats here in Norman. Waters to throw, sidearms it, and a one-handed catch by Sexton, but no, incomplete. He almost had it. They rule it incomplete. It's 4th down, and that's the first 3-and-out today for Kansas State.
Curry Sexton had one of the most unbelievable catches you'll ever see last game against Texas Tech. Almost brings that one down, but that ball did touch the ground.
And as long as you possess it, it can hit the ground, but you see there it was moving around. So it's incomplete, good call, and it's 4th down.
I tell you, Kansas State was lucky that ball was not
The ruling
intercepted.
on the field of an incomplete pass is under further review.
There was a little bit of confusion. It looked like Zach Sanchez, who was playing in man-to-man coverage, could have fallen off and picked that football off, but
just a fact, Brian, this was even close by Sexton with the left hand, and then to pull it in and almost get it. I think the ruling in the field will stand. He didn't have possession there. Again, the ball can hit the ground as long as you're possessing it to the ground. We've seen that happen before where the nose of the ball hit the ground and the player has control of it, but he didn't have control.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed. 4th down.
That's the right call.
It was a big play. They want to make sure they got that right.
So first 3-and-out for Kansas State. Now we'll see what Oklahoma does. They haven't been able to run it as well between the tackles as we've normally seen. Trevor Knight has thrown it 30 times. He's completed 24. Nick Walsh was punted very well today. Gets off another good one. And a fair catch made inside the 30 by Sterling Shepard. Well, the Sooners have had a lot of miscues in this game. That's one of the reasons they trail. How about this call to begin with? Dangerous to call that pick 6 for Denzel McDaniel. They try a trick play to Ron Neal. They're in the red zone here, and Neal throws an interception to Morgan Burns. There was also a missed short field goal by Michael Honeycutt, and then a blocked point after with Travis Britz knocking it down. But Oklahoma with a chance to take the lead now. 9:32 remaining. Ball on the Sooner 30-yard line. They'll throw it to Shepard out in the flat. He's got room. Banged out a play by McDaniel at the 37-yard line. And Shepard now with 14 receptions on the day.
Think of how different this Oklahoma offense looks today as opposed to just a week ago in the Red River rivalry against Texas when they really struggled. See the potential of this offense.
Knight will throw again, and a sliding catch made by Shepard. Reception number 15. He's right near the 200-yard mark on the day.
And if you're Kansas State, you've got to stop committing to safeties in the run game. You trust your front seven to stop this run game for Oklahoma. You cannot continue to give up these easy pitches and catches to Shepard on the outside.
How about just double Shepard? First down near midfield for Oklahoma. They're going to run P. Ryan here. Bounces off of a tackle. And finally goes down at the 45-yard line. A gain of 6 to Corey Johnson, the first man there. So Sterling Shepard has tied a school record with his 15th catch. He has 49 catches on the season and is in the top 5 nationally in receiving yards per game. That average will go up with the 197 yards today. He was at 119 per game coming in. On 2nd and 4, P. Ryan has the first down and more. Stiff arms and an ankle tackle at the 28-yard line by Schellenberg. 17-yard gain.
Sorry, Dave, and this is what happens. You get a safety deep so that you don't give up those passes, and now you get a crease up front in the front 7, and Schellenberg has to just get a shoestring to get P. Ryan on the ground. And when Oklahoma is at the beginning of the year, this is kind of offense we thought they would have, that they could run the ball, throw the ball at will, and they're just now trying to find their stride.
Kansas State with 9 guys around the line of scrimmage. First down, Oklahoma inside the 30-yard line. And here's P. Ryan again, and he was cut down, but he's kept those feet moving. Tackled at the 23. The coaches say he's one of the most mature true freshmen they've ever had here at Oklahoma, despite the height and the success that he's had. They got him lined out wide here out of an empty set. They throw it backwards to Neal, and he's fighting for the first down, but will come up just short, it appears, at the 19-yard line.
Blake Bell, the tight end, got up a little bit wobbly, and now he's gone back down to his knees.
Of the line to gain, it's 3rd down.
As we said live, that he was short of the first down marker, so it'll be 3rd down and 1.
There's Blake Bell, number 10, just going to get a block, and he goes low, and boy, he gets a knee on the side of the head. And God, I mean, you know these things happen in football. You just don't like to see them, and it's pretty clear what happened there. You get a knee. In some cases, that's worse than a helmet-to-helmet hit.
Well, and this could be a big loss because of how impactful he's been in the red zone. He's got a touchdown catch today.
Yeah. Well, and he seals that edge. I mean, he's gotten to a point now, and as a former quarterback, you wonder about how well they'll block when you put them down, their hand in the dirt. He's put on some weight to 260, and he really gets the edge for some of these backs. So this will be a tough loss for Oklahoma.
It's 3rd down and 1. We'll see if they just pound it between the tackles here with P. Ryan. They've had success doing it on this drive. P. Ryan's up to 74 yards rushing. 1 point in the second half. He had only 30. So Bell to the sideline for at least 1 play. Midway through the 4th, Kansas State on top by 1. And the ball is at the 19-yard line of the Wildcats. They have to get about a half yard for the first down, Oklahoma. Third and short. It'll be a quarterback sneak and a first down as Knight pushes the pile to the 17-yard line. Will Geary was the first man to greet Knight, but a fresh set of downs for Oklahoma, trailing by 1. Oklahoma 5-1, 2-1 in league play. Kansas State 4-1, 2-0 in conference play. Baylor has just scored to get within a point of West Virginia late in the 3rd. First down for Oklahoma. P. Ryan gets the call and again drags a defender for an extra 2 yards down to the 13. So a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 coming.
I think what we just talked about a little bit earlier, that the power of P. Ryan and his big offensive line starting to wear down on Kansas State in the front 7. That time Jonathan Truman, the captain, senior, the linebacker position, just got run over.
See if they go back to that. 2nd and 6. P. Ryan again inside the 10, dives to the 5. First and goal for Oklahoma. Dante Barnett tried to make the tackle on that play. Clock running, nearing 6 minutes to go. First and goal. Pirine maybe shaken up on that play. Gives the thumbs up. Holding that left wrist. He'll stay in the game. Oklahoma trying to take the lead. It's Pirine again to the 2-yard line. Dylan Schellenberg grabbed him at the ankles and brought him down at the 2. Second down and goal coming.
Well, yeah, Kansas State's going to substitute here. I think it's a good idea. They don't normally do it. They need some more beef up front. They bring in 2 more defensive tackles, expecting more. Samaje Pirine.
44 yards for him on this drive, 7 yards a pop. They only need 2 here for touchdown. And to take the lead back as we near 5 minutes to go. They'll feed Pirine again, trying to power to the goal line. He'll come up short. 3rd down and goal. They had a 3rd down and 1 just a moment ago from the 19-yard line. And they ran a quarterback sneak with Knight.
And as bad as it's been for Kansas State in this drive, giving up this yards on the ground, you have one more chance here. You got to think if they stop him here that Bob Stoops will attempt a field goal. So I sell out for Pirine here.
3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line. It's Pirine, and he won't get in. He loses yardage. Dante Barnett was there along with Jordan Willis for Kansas State. And so it's 4th down, and Oklahoma will try a field goal. If made, will give the Sooners a lead.
They brought Barnett off the edge, Dave. Great call from Tom Hayes, the defensive coordinator, as Pirine's slow to get up. But here he is right here at the top. He's just going to knife off the edge, and they get push up front, and Barnett gets his legs in the backfield, and that what comes up with the stop. Great job by Geary, number 60, the nose guard. And I think this is the right call for Bob Stoops in Oklahoma to go for the field goal and take a 2-point lead.
Although Honeycutt missed a field goal earlier in the game from 32 yards and then had the extra point blocked. This is essentially, even though it's worth 3 points, an extra point here in terms of distance.
The thing that jumps out is, Kansas State, we know how well coached they are, but they fight on every single snap. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Talk about Brits on the extra point, getting a block. That time they get run over on the ground in that drive, but they stand up, give that defense a place to stand, give them credit for getting the stop.
4:07 on the clock, so plenty of time for Kansas State when it gets the ball back, if it's trailing. Michael Honeycutt trying to become the all-time leader in the Big 12 in made field goals in a career. And he missed it wide to the left. I can't believe he hooked it. Wow. Considered by many to be the best kicker in all of college football. And he hooked that thing dead left from 19 yards away.
Wow. Missed a field goal just like this. He hooked the earlier field goal, and that's a confidence thing. Michael Honeycutt, normally solid, and he is flustered.
That was bad. Wow. There was no pressure, but maybe after the block PAT and the miss in the first half, he was thinking too much. Wow, Kansas State keeps a 1-point lead. And remember, Oklahoma has just 1 timeout.
I'm Reese Davis. Goodyear's superior performance. There have been many of them in the early part of the day, but what about Raheem Mostert from Purdue? He's got a 100-yard rushing day, despite the fact he's only carried the ball 4 times now. Purdue has a 38-36 lead on the Golden Gophers, whose only loss was to TCU.
And Reese, you wonder, will Honeycutt even get another opportunity, because Oklahoma has just 1 timeout. The Sooners need a stop, a couple first downs by Kansas State, and the Wildcats will be able to run out the clock. First down on their 20. It'll be a quarterback run, and Waters brought down after a minimal gain. They'll let the clock run here.
You know, let's go back and take a look at Honeycutt again. Take a look at his left foot, his plant foot, how close it is to the football. When it comes down right there, you can see he's so close that there's no room for the right foot to come in. He almost hits it off his ankle. I think he's lost a little bit of his form, and it's really affecting the way that ball is coming off of his foot.
This is the blocked extra point by Brits. The reason why it's 31-30. Honeycutt had only missed one field goal coming in, and that one was blocked. He's missed 2 today. The blocked extra point plus 2 interceptions by Oklahoma. 1 return for a touchdown. Waters trying to get the corner. Is he fast enough? No. Brought down by Jordan Evans at the 27. And Waters shaken up again. But he says, I got to tough it out and finish this ball game.
2 more minutes. He can tough it out for 2.5 more minutes.
Oklahoma not going to use its timeout. It will if they can stop Kansas State on 3rd down.
Again, right down on that right shoulder. Big 3rd down here. I don't expect them to throw the football. It's going to be run all the way with Gronkowski as a lead blocker in the backfield.
Waters just took a shot. How aggressive will he be sticking it in there between the tackles to try to get 3 yards? They got to snap it. They have to call a timeout with 1 on the play clock. That will leave Kansas State with 1 timeout. 2:22 on the clock. 1-point lead for K-State, trying to win in Norman for the 2nd straight time. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup heads to the final race in the contender round. Win and move on. Joey Logano won at Kansas and is automatically heading to the next round. 12 Nations Battle 8 Advance, the Geico 500 at Talladega Sunday at 1 on ESPN.
You know, I was thinking about that, Dave, with 2.5, a little under 2.5 left in this game. I think you got to try to get this 1st down. You can't just afford to run it, and because Oklahoma's going to call a timeout and have over 2 minutes left in the game. And the way that they went down so easy on offense, I think you got to throw the football here if the look is there, because you're going to have man-to-man coverage. You know you're going to have man coverage. Sexton has been clutch for you the last month of the season, and you still have Tyler Lockett. You have got to try to get a 1st down here and win this game on offense if you're Kansas State.
But if it's an incompletion,
I understand. But
you're kicking it with 2 minutes left, and they have a timeout. Boy, they didn't get out of the huddle from the sideline quick enough. They have to burn another timeout. Well, I get what you're saying. You throw the ball and you get a completion, and the game's probably over because Oklahoma can only stop it 1 more time. But if it's incomplete, now you've got 2:15 or so on the clock. You're kicking it, and Oklahoma can win the game with a field goal. I know Honeycutt's been rattled, but he also has a pretty strong leg and has been consistent until today over the course of his career.
Just think, if you're Bill Snyder, you come into this game and you haven't made any mistakes really in the game. The mistakes have been made on Oklahoma's side. You came in here to win the game, and if you decide to try to run this football, you've shown in the last 2 plays that you can't just run the quarterback and get a 1st down. You have to throw the ball here and feel confident in your passing game to get a 1st down to win the game.
Kansas State's out of timeouts now. 3rd down and 3, getting the check from the K-State sideline. Waters will throw, and it is caught for a 1st down by Sexton. Well, you said it. He called it, and they converted it. And K-State in command.
This is what's different about this Kansas State team. They trust their quarterback when the game's on the line. With the playmakers they have, Curry, Sexton, you see it, man-to-man coverage. You just find the guy that's off, and you either throw him a hitch or throw him an out route. And you have to trust your team that you can make that play, and Bill Snyder did.
Oklahoma can only stop it 1 more time. They'll give it to Jones. He gets about 3. Oklahoma will use its final timeout here.
Well, the final timeout, and a lot of frustration on this Oklahoma sideline, guys, both between Bob Stoops and Mike Stoops. If you watched those plays unfold leading up to that last throw, this is a defense that was just hanging on by a thread. Really, Kansas State's had them guessing, had them on their heels. I agree, Grease. I think they were loading up, figuring there's no way they're going to run it. They're going to throw it on us. They do. They give them some cushion, and Jake Waters delivers, and that's where you saw the reaction from Bob Stoops. A little bit of the wind out of the sail here on the coaching staff, maybe more so than the players for Oklahoma.
Well, and Oklahoma had too many mistakes in this game to win, and that's what happens. You play against a team that's coached by Bill Snyder and you make mistakes, you're in for a long day. And Jake Waters, give him a ton of credit. They needed one more pass out of him, and he was able to get it to Sexton for the first down.
So 2nd and 7, Oklahoma out of timeouts. Sooners hoping to get the ball back with a little bit of time on the clock, but that'll do it there as Jones gets the first down. It was Gronkowski out there blocking, and Kansas State, with Oklahoma unable to stop the clock now, just take a knee a few times and the ball game will be over. They will get back-to-back wins at Oklahoma for the first time since the mid-90s. They'll improve to 3-0 in conference play, 5-1 overall.
Everybody's been talking about TCU, Baylor, and Oklahoma in the Big 12. And at the top of our show, we said nobody has been talking about Kansas State. The last we saw them was that loss against Auburn, where you argue they could have won that football game. This is a team that is going to make waves in the Big 12, and game against Texas next week, and then they have to go on the road to TCU, West Virginia, and Baylor to end the season. So we're going to find a lot more about Kansas State, but this is a team that needs to be in the top 10 of college football.
And for Oklahoma, a team that some thought was a national title contender coming into the year, they got a long way to go. They don't have an easy schedule either. Here's what Kansas State has. Talked about Texas next week. They still have to go play on the road against some very good teams. They have Oklahoma State at home. The Cowboys are unbeaten in conference play. I'm sure a lot of people want to talk about Oklahoma losing for the second time, but Kansas State, a team to watch as the Wildcats defeat Oklahoma 31-30. The lone loss for K-State this year at home against Auburn, a game where the Wildcats made too many mistakes to win the game. Today it's the opponent, Oklahoma, with the 2 interceptions, the missed field goals, and extra point, as Kansas State wins by 1. And boy, how does the center B.J. Finney feel right now on the 10-year anniversary of his father passing away from a heart attack, to win this game on the road for his dad and for his team?
Yeah, there he is, the 3-time captain, and you got to feel great for him.
All right, Bill Snyder standing by with Tom.
Good luck to you, K.O. Yeah, best wishes. Take them all.
Coach, the toughness and the grit that Jake Waters showed today, what did he mean to your offense in this outcome?
Well, virtually everything. You know, when you think about it, he made the plays that kept the ball alive and kept us moving and kept a little bit of time on the clock. You know, we didn't win the possession time, which we normally do, and that put our defense in, you know, some major jeopardy, and we were struggling on defense. That simple.
Most games are lost, they're not won. You've built a program upon that. Make fewer errors than the opponent, and you're likely to win the football game. Did your team play to that level today, in your opinion?
We didn't play as well as we could. I thought we avoided, you know, critical errors. You know, we didn't turn the ball over. That's significant. Being in this type of environment, you know, not to get penalized is really significant. So there was a significant amount of discipline involved in it.
Coach, good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
Well, we said it last year at this point, week 8, Michigan State was unranked. Auburn was number 24. Louisville, Miami, and UCLA were in the top 10. A lot of football left here in 2014, but certainly looking at the body of work, Kansas State, Wildcats are in the mix. Their only loss at home against Auburn. They beat Oklahoma today 31-30. College football scoreboard presented by Honda coming up. For Brian and Tom, I'm Dave. So long from Norman.